This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. This show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Oh my gosh, good evening everybody. Welcome. It is June 30th, 2015, coming to you live from Studio C. This is show number 221. I'm in Studio C alongside right now Kat Carlson, Al Perkins, and Katie June is on her way. Marnie Ryer is on vacation this week with Ernie out on the left coast.
Yep.
Watching sharks.
Ooh, she saw a shark today.
I know, I saw that.
That does not help our get Marnie into the ocean.
They need a bigger motherfucking boat.
Yeah.
I saw your post, no way in hell, or how are you doing, or something like that.
I replied, oh, hell no. And then I realized, oh, they're on vacation. Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
Because my initial reaction was like, oh, hell no.
Hell no. Of course, he would have loved it because he's already swam with sharks over here, Mr. Shark Week
That
himself.
feels not okay. I like them on my television.
Yeah.
Oh, and well,
Where they belong.
It's almost Shark
When
Week.
is
It's next
Shark-
week, right?
Friday, Sunday.
Starts Shark
It all
Week.
begins on Sunday. And they're just, oh my God, it's like 8 solid hours of sharkness.
But is this going to be a better week? Because you've lambasted them in the past about the fact that it's bullshit. Like they did the what was it? The thing last year, or was a fake shark?
They do the
Megalodon.
that one.
And they do. It seems like the opening lineup is all real stuff. Luckily, there've been like
good.
4 shark attacks off the coast of North Carolina in like
Yeah.
Yes.
a day and a half. So I think Shark Week doesn't need any help from fantasy stories when they're biting off kids' arms. Like,
Oh, there's that.
and my sister Debbie, not in the chat room, but she's texting to say she's here.
Well, hi,
Debbie.
Debbie. A couple things. This just programming note. This whole show is probably just going to be not what you're typically used to. We don't have a regular headline segment because there's been so much going on in the news of late with political stuff, with the SCOTUS,
Minty things.
So much stuff. And I figured with the three of us, and we're bringing Katie back for this week, I figured we'll be more than enough to talk about for 3 solid hours. Don't forget, Drinking Word will still be at the top of hour 2. We'll get to that. And, of course, our final segment, Thoughtful Vulgarity. But everything else will be wrapped up in the show. There were 2 things that I saw on the interwebs, and I just wanted to kick off the show with the 2 things, and I thought they were kind of funny. People have been posting all over the place about different things, obviously, with the SCOTUS ruling involving same-sex marriage. If homosexuality can affect your marriage, then one of you is gay.
Yeah.
I like that one. And the other one was...
I think that's fair.
That feels true, yeah.
The other one I liked was same-sex marriage isn't gay privilege. It's equal rights. Privilege would be something like gay people not paying taxes. You know, like churches.
Yeah.
Both of those I thought were fantastic. Oh, my God. So hello, everybody in the chat room. Anant, Meow Cow, my mom, Mama Di. Richard is there. Holy cow, so much going on.
They're very busy already.
Yeah, well, Anant, thank you again.
And
Congrats
Team
to you.
USA.
That's right.
Oh,
That's true.
thank you.
We beat Germany today.
Oh, that.
Yeah, that.
Oh, I was not thinking of that.
I don't know.
What did we beat?
I'm going to go with that.
Yes, the USA
The
women's
national
soccer.
team.
They
Oh.
beat Germany 2-0.
I just came fresh from watching that, so
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's why.
I connected there and
Very
Annette
good.
being
Was it just a lesbian thing?
not just a lesbian
Okay,
thing. No, like
good.
there are straight people that watch it.
No, I know. I just didn't know that
Allegedly-
maybe you were connecting based solely on...
Oh no, it's
It was
actually
a general
the,
sports
the
thing.
boozy moms kind of pushed me into
As God
the soccer.
intended.
I think there needs to be a Facebook page for the boozy
The
moms.
boozy, I think I'm going to create one later today.
I like these
And
boozy
they'll-
moms. They might be fun to have in studio once. Or you think?
They're lots of fun.
Are they?
Yeah.
How many of you are there?
It varies.
Their
from
numbers are
happy
legion.
hour to happy hour.
Okay, so we're talking like 4 or 5?
Like
or we...
2 to 20.
Oh, geez, it's that big of a spread.
I-
Oh, jeez.
And I didn't mean that in a derogatory, spreading way.
Like the spread.
Hands off my spread.
Hey,
mister.
Yeah.
calm the hell down. My
No,
God.
you know what? It's just a group of parents that their kids go to the same schools that ours do, and we run into each other. And
Do they know you call them boozy moms?
some of them,
Yeah.
some of them have really fessed up to it, and some of the girls that are a little closer to me, I would totally love to. In fact, a couple of them listen.
Okay.
Oh,
Very cool. When they're not book fairing or whatever the hell else you guys all do up there
whatever.
in the paradise of the valleys.
Drink a lot.
Oh, well, apparently they do on Tuesdays.
Hashtag boozy moms.
Yes, very nice. Ooh, well, when last we were together, Alfie was under the weather, but this week I think you've bounced back.
Yeah, slightly. We're getting there.
Yeah?
Slow but sure. The lungs just don't heal like they used to. They're not the young lady lungs.
And you know
they
what's
once
funny
were.
about that? Aside from you working and breathing secondhand smoke for a big chunk of your life, you've never been a smoker.
No.
So,
But trapped in the car with my dad for
oh, that's true.
a couple decades, and then
We're the belief of look at this air conditioning, just takes the smoke right away.
Cleans it right out.
I don't think anybody bought that, but we weren't.
Oh,
gonna
my
breathe outside
grandfather,
either.
my mom's father, took lock, stock, and barrel. Thought that because I remember riding in a car with him as a little kid when they first got a car that had like all that air, and he made the comment, "Look, it just takes the smoke right away." No, where's it going? Is what I was thinking.
blown in the backseat at me.
Grandma and Mom and I in the backseat were going.
Oh yeah. I have fucked up lungs, but I made my peace with that.
You make your peace with a lot of things.
Yeah, you just have to.
It's a lot of peace.
Sometimes you get.
Oh my god! Back in the working at the bar days, the constant bronchitis just got old. Like
Yeah.
I had bronchitis all the time.
I do
sounds
not.
no
I
fun.
do not miss that being trapped in a bar. Well, I mean, you're trapped as far as you were working there, but then everything reeked. Clothes reeked. Everything reeked. Yeah, it's just not good.
And then everyone I knew smoked.
Yeah,
That
Back in the day.
that got old really quick. Mm-hmm. And now I don't really. Well, I'm gonna say just stay away from people, so I don't know if they smoke.
Well, as a former smoker,
Fernelli still does.
The imaginary people that I don't invite over don't smoke.
It's an odd transition when you quit smoking. Like all
'Cause
of,
you
all of a
did.
sudden, I did.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
been how long?
A little over 2 years.
Okay.
Oh, good for you!
long.
Congratulations.
Not long, yeah. After smoking for 18, like you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long stretch
know,
there.
since I was 4.
Stretch has been used more times than I want to in this. Spread and stretch. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Got it.
Similar but different. The thing I found when I quit smoking though was that I started hanging out with different people. Like you actually do kind of separate from the smokers because the smoking laws have separated the smokers in social situations.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, instead of spending all my time on the patio like I did with all the smokers, all
You'd
of a
have to
sudden
be
I was
inside.
and talking to those weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah. A whole
New,
league.
like
Yeah.
social circle happens.
That is true. That makes a very big difference. Unless you've got places. I mean, there's other bars in town that have kind of a indoor patio that everybody kind of congregates, so we still kind of suffer through some of it.
Yeah.
But at least it is majority outside. But yeah, that
And it does make every once in a while though I crave the smell. Like
the only thing
every once in a while I like it and I'm like, oh, I want to go stand by this. And I'll just for a minute, I just want to
I don't know what it is about the beginning of lighting a cigarette, and it's this way anywhere, but it's kind of one of those things that's burned in my mind as a child. I had a grandmother that she was of the uppity side of the family that always drove the big Cadillac and always had to have all that all the time. Well, she smoked Territons. And every time we would go somewhere, obviously I was too young to drive, but she would light that, she'd push that lighter in the ashtray in the car.
I love that thing.
But when she'd light it, from the initial lighting of the cigarette, there's a smell.
It's like that hot metal smell.
But
and then the
it's
cigarette.
not the rest of it. The rest of the cigarette doesn't smell like that. But that very first, the lighting, that first puff, that is I just love that smell. From the rest of it, I don't need it. But I always remembered that. As a
Especially
kid.
from a car lighter, it had a definite
Different distinction.
different smell, like flesh burn.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. And at the wedding, at one point, the wedding that I was at a couple weeks ago,
In Denver?
a lot of those people smoked. And at one point, I was having a conversation, and it went outside, and all of a sudden, there were cigars that were going around. It was a big deal to smoke cigars, and the one guy sitting next to me was like, "This is fucking gross. I don't smoke." And he's trying to smoke the cigar, and all he did was complain about how bad it was. And then the father of the group was like, "I haven't smoked a cigar since the day he was born." Then why are you out here doing it now? If you don't smoke and you don't really like to smoke, why are we all standing out here doing some ceremony? Like,
Seemed like the thing to
'cause
do.
you do, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like what other horrible things from 30 years ago are we going to bring back? Like it was the weirdest thing, but it was a conversation that was going on, but it was just punctuated by I don't smoke, this is gross,
Yeah.
and me like,
Why the fuck
what
are
the
you
fuck
What is wrong with you
two?
people? Right.
One of the things that I was always, and you don't have to drink this, but on St. Patrick's Day, everybody was like, "Oh, you've got to drink a Guinness beer," and I'm like, "I hate Guinness beer,"
Yeah.
and I've tried it multiple times, thinking maybe, and I'm never
saving
gonna.
my teeth for meat. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, then you probably just don't need to.
I just rather drink 10W40 motor oil as
Right,
opposed
yeah.
to that shit. It's not my deal. Or I'll Scottish whiskey at some point. It's still fine, I think.
Sure.
I don't know. A Killian's red beer would even be better than goddamn Guinness.
turns out they're made at The Coors Factory.
Oh, didn't realize. I just assumed with the name of Killian's it wasn't. I had no
think
idea.
it started somewhere else, but they
Oh,
make
they
it
probably
there
They
now.
bought it now.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we tasted.
Got it.
It's delightful.
Ooh,
Not bad.
no.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, and I mean, I get the addiction thing. It's just, I think I don't know. I really thought it followed the gays, but now every time I go to a straight function, boy, those
Every
cigarettes.
time it follows the case.
Yeah. Oh, you thought the gays were like the heavier
But a
smokers?
straight Niagara Falls function's got some cigarette smoke in it.
Look out.
I don't miss being around all of that. Well, I guess we're still waiting for Katie to show up, so I guess we start as in our usual way. With
Well,
either-
she is in Teresa's chair. What's her name, Marnie?
Yeah. So she being
I wasn't
late.
sure.
Now I've just left M's altogether. Now I'm like,
Just gonna hop about the
I've run
alphabet.
out of M names to call her, so now she's Teresa.
Not even close.
Yeah.
No, we're close. Some of the same letters. Wait,
Yeah,
T.
no.
No, there's an E.
E, yeah.
That's about it.
I like it. I'm
about-
in. Do that. A
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, yeah.
So aside from boozy moms and soccer and spreading yourselves thin, what you been up to there, cat?
Woo.
Yeah, let me in on that
A little
trick.
blushy now.
Not the same spread. Anyway,
different.
yeah.
Different. No, we this Sunday we went and saw a local production of Into the Woods,
Oh, very nice.
which was very good. You know, a lot of people. I actually talked to a couple of friends of mine, and they're like, children's theater because it was put on by the Value Theater, but it was very, very good.
It lends itself nicely to local theater.
Yeah.
I've seen it locally a few times, and it lends itself beautifully.
Yeah, we liked it. My kids were into it because they fell in love with the movie. We went and saw the movie, and they just were captured by it. And so
Well, I
it was,
recall you talking about you all were singing the songs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
A
then we
little more death in this stage play.
a little bit,
Yeah, a couple
bit.
more people
a
die.
little more, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not squeamish about people dying in movies. Like, let's be
Okay.
real. Yeah, we kind of cheered when the guy got eaten in Jurassic Park. We were like, hey, he's gone.
Oh,
Fuck him.
There's
Right.
always somebody that needs to be eaten in
Yeah,
the
there's
Jurassic movie.
always somebody that needs to die.
There's always one deserving victim in the Jurassic movie.
But yeah, we did. We got very much
Oftentimes
into
a
the
lawyer.
music, and so it was very fun because our youngest sat between Sharon and I, and for the entire opening number, like the entire first number, he's got some speech delays, and so when he kind of sings along with a song, he finds the punchline, and he'll just like scream that out, you know, whatever it is. The King's Festival, like that's his line, and he does his best approximation. So he held both of our hands just as tight as he could, and it was the cutest thing because I could tell whenever one of his lines was coming up, he didn't want to like shout it out, and so he would just press our hands to his cheeks and then put it back down. Cutest thing. I spent most of the play.
The festival, the Kings.
The King's Festival. Yeah,
I'm the same way.
I spent most of the show watching the kids watch it, to be honest. But yeah, we had a really great time.
I saw your picture what you posted about intermission. The two of you.
Selfies at intermission.
Yeah, that was cute too.
Because we're very cute and we know it, so we have to share it with the world.
Oh, sure.
And the reprise of Agony is everything.
Oh, it's hilarious.
yeah, yeah.
And I knew that. Like, I think you had told me that, and so I went and looked up the Broadway version and had listened. So I knew it was coming, so I was able to warn my people about that.
And they just did somewhere they did a series on, like, they sat down and did like a Comic-Con panel with most of the original stars of Into the Woods from the 80s Broadway version.
Oh, okay.
And they talked about different inspirations and how they did things, like how they did the witch's transformation. It turns out it was a body double.
Okay.
That it was someone lip syncing while she and Bernadette Peters sang off stage during her costume change, and then they put the smoke and switched them out.
Okay.
Oh.
Because there just wasn't the technology
Sure.
to do that costume change. So it is a double that comes out in the cape and sings that little bit
Oh,
to
really?
do the thing. And then when they asked, like, one of the best lines of the show is, "What am I doing here? I'm in the wrong story."
Uh-huh.
And the laugh that gets, and it turns out that was Joanna Gleason, like, looking at her songs and doing. She literally said, "What am I doing here? I'm in the wrong story." Like, she said it out loud, and Stephen Sondheim was like,
That's
"That
funny,
stays."
right?
Yeah, that stays.
Oh.
To have the baker's wife realize she's suddenly in Cinderella's story. Like, wait a minute.
Wait. Wrong story.
Like, is this my
Right.
script? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it was really
Uh-huh.
her just saying, like, "What am I doing here? I'm in the wrong story." And he's like, "Oh, that's a lyric. That's fun."
Yeah.
And they admitted that it's one of the few times that he took an ad lib and made it part of the permanent show.
That's fun. It's, altogether it's very, very fun and very, witty and complex, but it still clearly appeals to small children. Because and the theater was pretty full of kids. It was the last showing of the run, so it was a lot of family. But
And it's one of those shows that people are hesitant to because it seems a little deep.
yeah,
But then kids really like it, and the parents get worried about how dark the second act is. Because and Bear is talking about the sanitizing of the movie. because everyone was afraid when Disney got hold of it. Like half the cast dies. Like you end up with 5 characters.
They die. They're cheating on each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a dirty show, but it's definitely provocative and asks a lot of questions.
So it's Disney in real life.
Yeah,
right.
Not what they show you.
No,
it's like the Britney Spears Disney.
You're left with 5 characters still singing. A couple people just wander off and disappear.
Yeah.
They don't all die.
Oh no, I meant like the Disney Corporation, the backstory.
Oh yeah. And there was a lot of people that worried that
people sleeping
Disney
with each other.
They did sanitize a bit and clean up a little bit.
Sure.
Like Jack's mom kind of dies, and they do it so quickly that you're like, wait, where's that?
But
lady?
on stage, she's just kind of laying there on the floor for a while.
Oh, and on stage she lays there dead for quite a while.
She's just laying there. But yeah, we're not opposed to dead people, and we the older boy he actually caught on to the fact that the Dark Man wasn't in the movie. And he's like, wait, who's this? Who's this
the narrator?
guy?
Yeah.
No, not the narrator. The baker's father.
Mysterious man. Yeah.
The mysterious man.
Yeah.
Like he got.
And that's
because
Meryl Streep took that part. Meryl, they had to incorporate.
She did the nudging instead of him. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which I mean, they could have put him in there.
Yeah.
Is Valley Youth Theater? Is it in downtown Phoenix?
It is. Yeah, this was shown at the Herberger. All their productions are either at the Herberger Theater or their own theater, which is just a block north of the Herberger.
Right. That's
But the
what I was
Herberger
thinking.
is so much fun. If you're here in town locally, the Herberger does wonderful.
It's a
wonderful
lovely
work.
theater. Yeah.
I'm thinking of what's the name of it? It's another. Is it called Children's Theater of
Child's Play?
Child's Play.
That may be the
one.
one.
Is that downtown?
Child's Play is part of.
is.
Child's Play is part of.
Phoenix Theater, isn't it?
Yeah. Child's Play,
it's
the
a
Cookie
different
Company, the
right.
Cookie Cutter, the Cookie
Company,
Monster.
Yeah, all those.
Oh, everybody has to ask Siri to divide 0 by 0.
All right.
So
what if I don't have Siri?
Well, then you're fucked. But if you have an iPhone,
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Al sees it.
Son of a bitch.
Well, you're fucked. Well, I'll hook my phone up to the sound system so we can do this because apparently we need to do it. I don't know.
So, lots and lots of fun on a family day, and other than that, we've just been hanging out with the kids. Play dates and pool dates, and it's summer.
Are you already counting on when school goes back in session?
I have a countdown. No, are you kidding me? I believe today.
Now I believe you're a mother.
I believe today is 40. Yep, look at that. 40 days until school starts.
Oh, wow.
Plus, I mean,
you
enjoy the activities too.
40 days. Oh, yeah, no, and I like when school's in because then I actually end up seeing my friends more. I was texting.
The boozy moms are at
I get to see them a lot more because I was texting one of my boozy mom friends and I had texted her like the day after school got out. I'm like, okay, summertime, what's your plan? I know your kids aren't in a lot of like camp and you don't work, so clearly you have time. And she like whips out her phone and she goes, end of June. I got something the end of June. I'm like, bitch, it's May 31st.
Yeah.
And so then I text her. Now it's the end of June. So I text her and I'm like, okay, you're back from your trip and all this kind of shit. And I'm like, okay, so when are we getting together? And she's like, oh, you won't believe it, but I'm booked all except for like this one day that I would be murdered if I go out. So yeah.
That's funny.
I see them more when school's happening because then their rotten children are not around and my rotten
They're
children
rotten
are
children.
Rotten children.
So okay, so do we need to try this Siri
it's
thing?
funny.
All right, ask Siri.
Okay, let's see if we can make this work. So I'm just literally going to ask her divide 0 by 0, right?
No.
Let's see. Siri, divide 0 by 0.
Imagine that you have 0 cookies and you split them evenly among 0 friends. How many cookies does each person get? See, it doesn't make sense. And Cookie Monster is sad that there are no cookies, and you are sad that you have no friends.
Is it the same response every time?
Yeah, I don't. Some celebrity put it out there today to ask the question.
I've not heard that.
Because I know there's a couple different things that went around when Siri first came out to ask, and the one was like. The one came back as like a Star Trek. It was like Mr. Zulu answering something. Like there was just weird answers to questions.
There's
that
little
were
Easter eggs kind of built in there.
For those of you wondering, I have the male voice selected on my Siri. Otherwise, it would be the regular female sounding of her. So
that's transgendered. There's God damn it, you're so insensitive.
Really? Fuck you. Really? I'm sensitive. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're ready at the standby. If we have anything else, we need to go to the world of Siri and ask or Google.
Siri's
we can.
Listening and ready.
Yes.
Siri's kind of an asshole.
Can be.
Oh yeah, Siri's got a she got a fucking attitude problem.
Siri is a douche.
Let's see. Well, hang on a minute. Let's see if we can do. Where does your attitude come from?
My name is Siri, and I was designed by Apple in California. That's all I'm prepared to say.
I seriously, I want Siri to say, and
Name,
I do have a lawyer.
rank, and serial number. That's all that bitch will say. She's like a hostage. She's a hostage in your phone.
Right.
She's treating you hostage.
Well, and for those of you who've been longtime listeners, maybe you recall in the intro to the show and in the crossover when it says you've been listening to Q Talk America or the show, that's Siri. That I used the Siri voice to create that way back 3 years ago.
I forgot what she sounded like
Some
because you changed
high-tech
mine to a
bullshit.
man so long ago.
Oh, well, you can change it back.
No, I like it.
Oh.
I like it.
All the
I-
You know,
transgender
but you know what?
series everywhere.
The reason that I changed
She's
it,
cisgender. What's that word mean? What's cisgender mean?
Cisgender is when you are born the gender,
gender
that
you
identify
identify
as.
with, right?
Oh.
You're a white woman.
And I was born that way. Damn it!
No, what I found with changing the Siri personality or the Siri voice, I feel that it recognizes what you say differently. I don't have to speak as like with Siri. If you vary from a certain tempo of speech or whatever, she hears you completely differently.
Maybe it's you. Maybe you
Well,
speak
my-
to women differently. Than
Maybe that's true.
My car speaking via Siri turns back into a woman. She's transgender. She's a hot fucking mess. But when the phone talks through the car, it reverts back to a woman. And it learned how to say Chico Taco correctly.
Oh,
Like
wow.
on Fridays, it would say Chico Taco or Chico Taco. And all of a sudden, like her accent became beautiful. She's like, now calling Chico Taco. Like,
because you can
all of a sudden, she's offended by
download
Donald Trump.
updates.
You know what I mean?
Now they're also all of a sudden this became an iPhone thing. Do you know that you can? Oh, thank you. Look at this. Is this the sharp
We're
cheddar?
driving Molly crazy because we're just eating on the air.
That's all right. We can do that. What I also like is if Siri
hungry, what?
doesn't know how to pronounce something, it will give you options. Like, is it spoken like this, or this, and you select the one that most represents.
Yes, Siri, you're a cunt.
It asked me. No, it asked me that about my mom's last name because when you type it out, it looks.
Lagerfeld? What's her last name? Lindenbacher? Linehorn?
Luganbill.
Oh, I was so close.
Yeah.
I made all those same noises.
You had an L.
That's not fair,
Yeah.
right?
But when you type it out,
Listen,
it was
Teresa.
trying to say it differently, so I had to tell Siri how it is. But it's good. This is great cheese. Thank you.
You're
Fantastic cheese.
Welcome. You're welcome.
So,
I'm
Al,
a good cheese picker.
aside from recovery and health, what you been doing?
Well, I had a lovely day's sleep on Sunday that I really think they should be writing sonnets about.
Why?
Oh.
I don't know. Like, all of a sudden, like, all the sickness and everything and the drugs that I took all combined into one of the most refreshing days of sleep I have ever experienced. I woke up
That's
like
exciting.
hours later, just refreshed and delighted. So I laid on the couch and watched TV. I
Well, sure.
celebrated by doing nothing.
Thank you.
I felt so refreshed. I decided to watch television. That's happened to me. I feel like that's a thing.
But no, and it's just been kind of like straightening up the house and getting shit done and watching the storms come in. I worked, and then spent off, and I caught up on Petty Dreadful last night because I had absolutely nothing to do, and I kept thinking I should pick up that phone and call another human being. I don't know.
Optional.
Yeah.
Isn't Facebook enough?
Right.
I mean, you're interacting
like it is.
somehow.
Yeah, I mean, a rant every
But
hour
you're-
is the same as a
you're not-
conversation.
but you're also
Same, same.
you're not a fan of being on the phone anyway.
No, but I kept thinking, well, maybe I want to go up and I can cry showering. So, didn't happen.
Showering. Did you? Speaking of,
But if you ever want to have a whole conversation about all the things that are wrong with Penny Dreadful, that's like watching a train fucking crash in accents. It's
I
like
don't know what the hell you're
Brad-
talking about.
It's a show on Showtime that's like kind of like a horror movie thing, but it takes place in England, but it's filmed in Ireland, and like they hire Patti LuPone, and like they'll have whole. And normally I would agree that you should not pick apart accents because, don't pull on that thread.
Right.
But they have a thing about, well, clearly our accent's not from Maine. You're from the Midwest. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you. And then Patti LuPone wanders in, who's been
snooty.
living on the moors for millennia, but she all of a sudden has this half Mrs. Lovett from Sweeney Todd and half I just came off the Broadway stage playing a David Mamet role. Like, it's just so... Her accent is so weird, and you just keep getting caught in, like, bitch, what are you doing? Are you selling a meat pie? Are you casting a spell? Like, I am lost in this gray wig, and, like, halfway through, I'm like, Patti LuPone looks like hell.
And you're not a fan of her.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew there was one of those people that Barbara Seville does that you don't
But
like.
it was just this fun, and I couldn't stop watching it, because I just wanted every episode to be, like, the 5 people that are, like, bringing it home and, like, doing above board acting and really selling this shit. And then the rest of the cast, you're like, oh, come on. Mm-hmm. We know you're they're filming in Ireland. Like, to save money, they're not filming in England. So it's clearly in Ireland, and all the extras are Irish. And everybody just breaks their accent. And it gets funnier and funnier.
Oh.
So, I don't know. And hello all. But that was about it. And just, you know.
I feel like I went
It's
somewhere,
not been
but
an
I haven't
exciting
been
end
anywhere.
of June. There's not a lot to do in the end of June in Arizona. Like, what are you going to do?
And it's,
Nothing.
Either go
and
underwater.
Swim in the pool, right?
and
Yeah,
not
go to a movie
outside.
theater.
Yeah, it's
It's our version of being snowed in, and the monsoons have started, so you
Yeah.
can't really ride your bike because the winds kick up.
like for example, right now it's 90. What is this? 99 degrees. It's 100 degrees.
Oh, cool and balmy.
And
'cause
it's 31.
It seems nice out at
31%
99.
humidity. It's just miserable. It's like, whoa. Yeah. And now last night up north, again, stimulating radio for those of you who don't live in Phoenix. Mom was getting rain and wind and everything up there at her place, like 3-4 miles away, and I got nothing.
It was booming and crashing at my house.
Got nothing here.
Nothing here.
So I don't know.
well, my TV's so loud that you could pretty much have a tornado outside, and I wouldn't hear it.
Well, and
No, it rattled the windows. Like it was really close to where I was. So.
she texted me. I was doing one of those late night turn up every sound device I've got and do cleaning because that's just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I bought 2 new. I bought George Michael's Symphonica, where he does the whole concert with the orchestra, and then I bought Adele live at the Albert Hall, which I didn't even realize there was a live version of
And
anything.
it's lovely.
It is lovely. So I was doing that. And then cleaning, all of a sudden, my mom texts me because I have a special ringtone for her. And I'm like, why in the hell is she And then I realized that it's raining and storming and things were happening. I look out the window, like, nothing.
Many things were happening.
Minty things.
Minty things.
Spread thin. Spread thin.
I don't know where.
But let's just talk about my
stretch.
week. We'll just break right
Please,
into this
let's.
because the fucking SCOTUS has interrupted my good time. Bristol fucking Palin.
I thought that was your good time this
It
week. Bristol
was.
Palin.
So in case you're wondering what I was doing when I was laying around, I was just having a delightful time reading Bristol Palin, Advocacy for Abstinence, who swore on Oprah's vajayjay, bedazzled vajayjay, that she was never having premarital sex again. Swore it.
Again.
Up and down. And Oprah gave her like 3 different chances to have an out. Like, do you really want to say that? And she's like, no, I will not have premarital sex.
And in fairness, she didn't clarify whose marriage.
Right. That's a fair and unbiased
Who's
point.
pre-marriage? No.
So,
Yeah.
so the
I
best
believe
part,
hers is implied, but I guess
because she didn't
I'll allow
want,
it.
she didn't want pity or lectures, and she knew her fans and
Who
family
does?
would be disappointed.
Who does?
That all of a sudden she was knocked up again. Because in a surprising turn of biology, you know what happens when you preach and practice abstinence only? You have a baby. Because I've never met somebody who could get some that didn't then get some. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
if you practice it, nothing happens. If you fail miserably, then you get a baby.
no, because there's no practice. There's just do, and you do it. Like, I'm sorry.
All right, well, apparently that's how that
Bees
happens.
do it. Birds do it. Even
Educated
educated fleas do it. I mean,
definitely.
we'll go all Cole Porter on your ass. He saw this shit coming like 70 years ago. Cole Porter was like, bitch,
everybody's getting it on.
you're going to
Right.
get, love is like an itching in my heart,
Ooh.
and it's a little lower, too, sometimes.
I remember something else.
I think
Go.
I just misquoted the Supremes. But,
Wow.
so you
But
just
you did it
read
beautifully.
the God people who just took a couple of minutes from the Duggar page to support child molesters to tell her, and all they could think of was, well, at least she didn't have an abortion. No, her bitch's stance isn't on abortion. Bitch goes high school to high school making $250,000
telling people.
that abstinence is the way to go, that you can do it if you're just stronger.
What was the ring? Well, what's that? There was a movie that everybody wore the ring.
Oh, the
Promise
promise
ring?
ring?
No, it wasn't the
Where
promise
you
ring.
promise your daddy your virginity, which
No.
the ick factor on that
No,
goes.
no.
Oh.
No,
lot
not
of
that. It was. There was a. Was it called the abstinence ring? There was a movie or a show that had everybody in this fucking show was wearing. They all had to wear this ring. God, I'll look it up. You keep.
I thought
talking.
it was called the promise ring, where
No,
you promise to
there
stay.
was a different
Right,
word.
yeah, there was a whole thing that
and then you go to
dads
the
and daughters
promise
were doing.
dance where you promise your fidelity to your dad. I mean,
Wasn't
there's-
that one?
I mean, seriously, the
that
ick
sounds
factor.
like the Duggars right there.
Yeah.
So you go back and forth between the Jesus people, and why they got to be praying on Tuesday. That's from the life. And they're just saying, "Oh my God, prayers are with you. You're just a light and a beacon." Like, and then the people just come in and just
Right.
Purity ring.
Purity
That's what
ring.
I'm thinking of.
Purity ball is what you're
the
thinking
purity
of.
ball.
Yeah.
That's what it's
All
called.
right, got it.
There it is.
We're all in the same one.
And everybody's like, "Oh, it's so great that she's admitting it." And who are we to judge? That's all her and her bitch mother
Right.
cunt fuck face do.
Motherfucker, that is your whole
That is
shtick.
your whole shtick, is judging people.
Oh, yeah.
So I will spend the show reading through her Facebook page. And don't worry, you don't have to friend her. Just find her original link about her woes and all of that.
Is it the announcement of her, or?
Yeah, it's where she puts the picture of, I don't know, Jesus crying or something.
Her uterus?
Yeah, her uterus wept or some shit. I don't know. It's hard in here because your internet is so fast that every time I touch something, it takes me to a different page. So
there's a lot going on in the kitchen right now. I think, oh, looky there. Oh, the kitchen cam. We're going to catch Katie June doesn't know about the kitchen cam, and she's on it right now. She's in the kitchen
now.
No, she doesn't, because she has no idea that it's on, but she's in there.
She can't hear us from the next room.
She's feverishly doing things in there. Oh, here she's going to bust in.
3,
no, maybe not, but she's
2.
No, she's in there.
Oh.
She's in the hopper now.
Very busy.
And she'll come back in a second. We'll catch her on the cam in a minute. Go ahead.
So you can go onto the comment page of anywhere that they posted this story. Please feel free and enjoy the comments. But I really recommend going to, the Jesus site itself.
Oh, she says she meant to get pregnant, so deal with it.
Oh, that's the new one.
Because now it's
That's
planned.
what it says right
It's
now,
still
yeah.
premarital sex, and it still breaks her vow of abstinence. And we only have we can John Stewart this bitch.
Right.
She says
you only have
Oprah,
to rewind.
why put yourself in this position? Like, why say it? Just say it's a goal, not you will do it, because you're going to set yourself up for failure.
No, as soon as you break that,
And, Big Mama Bear just smiles at her, and she's like, no, I swear, I will never put a penis inside me again until I'm married.
The favorite one, and you... did you post it?
If it was about Bristol Palin, I posted
No,
it,
you
because
did.
I'm on this
but
bitch.
You were on it and a couple other people, but...
Because she's 25 and a public figure now. Bitch is fair game.
The favorite one that I haven't read through all of them, and if you're going to, or later in the show if we're going to, I don't want to steal the thunder from this one, but there's one that I thought was the best part.
Well, we'll just lead with that one. My absolute favorite was, you must give shitty blowjobs.
That's the one! Katie June! Oh my God,
look at her.
she comes with booze and
With
with
whiskey and Oreos.
Oreos.
That a girl.
Welcome to the
Know
show.
your audience, people. Know your audience.
remembers.
You'll be taking that seat this week, KJ. Oh.
I wasn't sure where to sit, so I just sat where I usually
No, that's your
Yes,
seat.
you're the reg.
That's your-
Hi.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Oh my God, you guys.
Hi, KT.
Hi.
My gosh. So you were stirring around the kitchen. You've got Canadian Mist and Oreos. What-
And also lemonade and eggs, naturally.
you brought
Like
the...
we
Ruthie's
update with what's wrong with her. I'll go make
Somebody's
some
making
liquor.
cocktails. Look out.
I
should,
really intended-
should I play the intro for What's Wrong with Katie this week? We only get to use it once.
Be
Oh,
kind.
I know.
Then you quit.
I have to come back more often so that I can make it a regular thing. But
Yeah.
I brought dessert. Now, my intention was s'mores Oreos.
But,
So as I told
What
Clayton,
happened?
well...
so the other day I went to this, last week I went to the store and I'm like, and Kelly and I had just been talking this weekend and she goes, you haven't been to the show in a while, and I work now a lot on Tuesdays, and so she's like, why don't you go? And I said, that would be really fun. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm at the store and recalling everyone's love of Oreos, I'm like, I'm going to get these s'more Oreos.
Fuck yes.
That look amazing.
Duh.
And I'm going to bring them into the show. And it just so happens that this is the one week that Clayton has to cancel. And I see on your Facebook page or someone's like, oh, we have to cancel the show this week. Clayton's been called away. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just break into the Oreos real quick. I mean, they're not going to wait a week.
No, they haven't been in that package for 6 months already.
So I break in and they were all gone within like a 24-hour period.
Okay, important question.
Every one of them.
Were they good?
Fucking amazing. Because the next time I was at the store,
You
like
even
2
had to
days,
ask that?
like 2 days later, I bought another pack. Also gone within 24-hour period.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, because we had there was a Pop-Tart variety that we thought was going to be delightful that was not. So
Yes, that's true.
It's a fair
S'mores Pop-Tart.
question.
No, the
There
s'more.
Investigative journalism over here.
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
S'mores Oreos. Anyway, you guys, hi. I'm so
Hi.
I miss you, and I'm just so excited to be here. I was raising money
Always.
for that goddamn Congress lady, and so I was
Happens.
like,
She
I
seems
got
nice.
to go.
She seems nice.
She's like, listen, congressperson, excuse me. I understand we're up against a deadline, but I got some things to do.
Very busy.
So
Wah, wah.
I
I
gotta
gotta
talk
go
to donors.
drink
and-
whiskey and talk with my friends.
Yeah.
It feels like more important. That does.
I think we solve in 3 hours a lot more problems than they do in an entire legislative session.
I do not disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
We
with
short
you.
line this stuff. Get it done.
I solve
true.
a lot of problems in a week. Did you know that?
Oh, I do. I see your
We
posts
solve-
all the time.
Every Monday we solve some problems, and then Tuesdays we solve problems. I'm very busy.
I'm hoping to solve problems with you coming up here on a Monday.
Are you gonna come?
Soon. I saw my friend
Oh, how
Pat
fun.
at the OC.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, were you up there today?
I was up there for
Right
work.
on.
That's what I was for this event.
I almost
so-
brought my kids there to watch soccer today.
which was very
know.
exciting.
It was
It was
very
like, I
exciting.
don't know if the game is over.
It's over. We won.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we did good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard lots of cheering and I saw the first score and then I was talking to donors and
Right.
I should have had that
Like
on
you
TV. In fairness, I should have had that on the TV because the entire, the entire FIFA, the male version of the soccer that they were doing, or football, whatever they were doing, I had it on every fucking day because it was just a glorious thing to watch.
Because Hot Boy's running. I understand.
Right. But the colors of the field and everything was very vibrant. I enjoyed
It is actually really pretty. Like every time they do it all the way down the field shot, like from behind the goalie, I'm always like, that's so pretty.
Boy, that was-
I'm celebrating 14 days sober.
oh my
by,
god.
Drinking.
by making Ruthie's original.
But
Well-
we understood before the show it was an inadvertent sobriety. It
He was-
was
It was not
unintentional.
intentional. I was surprised.
It was
yeah.
it was caused by a cold or something that he had, so he
Right.
didn't drink for 2 weeks.
Okay, that
So-
sounds terrible.
Right.
That's unintended
We're glad he's
indiscretion.
better.
So sad for
Yes.
him.
Yes, well, but to some listeners who may not, or do we have anybody new that doesn't know who the hell Katie is?
Hi.
I don't think so.
Hi, Mama Di.
But yeah, so many people in the chat room. This is Katie June.
Yeah.
Katie was here prior to Kat's
Yeah.
introduction, but Katie has a life.
Yeah.
Post
outside of
buddy,
here.
pre-cat.
Yes,
That's actually true.
Post buddy pre-cat.
It was like
It's
a
like a sandwich.
Buddy Cat's Oreo.
Spamage.
oh, look at this.
Let's get
That's
you a full-
this is
let's get you a
thank
full
you.
one. That's a
Thank you
shameful
so
amount.
much.
My God.
Give
I
me the
have
shameful amount.
been looking forward to this drink since
Oh.
I saw you, Clayton, on Saturday, Sunday
thank you.
evening.
Yeah.
I have been dreaming about this, if you will. Really.
I ran into Katie at the annual. Well, it's an annual every year, but this year it's the Miss Gay Arizona America 2015 30th anniversary of that. I ran into her. She was the judge.
I've been yanking that shit for 30 years.
Oh my God!
Holy
Yes,
crap.
and about 18 of them whores were there.
Wow.
Yeah, there were a bunch of them.
It was actually I think it was 19. I literally counted. So about
Oh.
18, close, but 19 of 30
19 formers.
had
Oh.
been there.
Wow.
Were there,
Some
which
are-
was
And
really.
Some are
Nevaeh
dead.
won. Did I read that
Nevaeh.
right? Nevaeh.
Nevaeh.
My
McKenzie.
apologies, Teresa. I did not know your name.
Yes,
Legit.
Nevaeh did.
She was really spectacular. She was very, very good. So it was fun judging a drag pageant like that. Everyone takes very seriously.
Anyone
is-
for a fresh raspberry?
thank
To
you.
Health up your.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
We're just driving Molly up the wall with the food today.
Yeah,
aren't we?
exactly.
I didn't realize she didn't like our footage.
No, she doesn't
I'm
like
gonna
the,
put that
the
in.
chewing
I
on
was gonna
line.
say the part that she hates
Is-
is
I can't imagine.
Oh.
And especially
I-
since
I
I brought
can't
like
imagine
pretzels
why.
that take a week to chew.
Yeah, those are bitches, but they're flavorful as hell. I like those.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and Mom and I were talking just the other day. Mom, you were right. It's Snyder's, and it's the honey mustard and onion pretzel pieces. That's holy cripe. That's
the
good.
love
So good.
For the
love of fuck.
Those are good shit.
I will bet that Cheech and Chong would endorse that.
Yeah.
The Bill Maher kicker.
two blunts up.
Yeah, 2 blood. Oh, I like that.
Is that what they give? Or is that what you give?
It is now.
It is now,
I
yeah.
like it.
God,
Somebody
that's
call them.
fabulous. 2 blunts up.
I'm very witty. Thank you
That
for
is
noticing.
good shit.
I've been here for 6 months.
Yeah, I know. It seems really.
I was gonna, yeah,
Probably
longer.
at least longer, I think.
How long? When did you say goodbye?
September. Her daughter's birthday, September 2nd.
Oh my God, you're so good. But that is not.
Yeah, that was the week that you had to miss because you forgot it was her birthday.
Well, but we overlapped. We were.
No,
But
but
no,
there-
because I went through the election.
No, you didn't.
We were no,
you
we were a 5-way because you.
No, you came back after the
Went away
election.
for the election.
Yes, I did.
came in,
And then I
would
went away
leave
again.
when you came back
Which was the whole reason for all these fucking microphones to be on the table now.
Which
Right.
is so great.
because I refused to go.
Oh.
Right.
And I asked Buddy back too.
Yeah.
So we could have the whole like Debbie Matenopoulos, Lisa Ling.
The view.
Oh my god!
What's her butter? That makes you
Can I-
Elizabeth Hasselbeck. I'm sorry, but
Son of a bitch.
son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that? Now, who
I
are
can-
you
I can
in
be a
this
better white
view
woman.
equation?
I'm always
Raven
Behar.
Simone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Every
Oh.
time.
No, she has better hair.
Now somebody's got to kick her.
Oh, it's going to be.
She is dumber than a box of hair.
Well, that's part of
I
her
don't even
hair.
care that we agree politically. She gots to go.
Yeah. I don't like
Oh,
people.
As we
I'm sorry,
pause
I'm
to
looking
li-
at Bear.
Oh, I know.
I'm sorry. Hi, Aaron. from
Sometimes,
LA.
Katie, what happens now is that there'll be just dead silence because we're all reading the chat room. Oh my god!
And the
there's
best
one
part
to
is
yours.
I don't interact. I just read it. I'm like, well, there it is. It's in front of
There
me
it is,
now.
just reading. So how are you enjoying your Tuesday evenings?
They're busy as hell, and honestly, I'm just working a lot. So, my Congress lady is in town on traditionally the very early part of the week. So when she's in town, it's Mondays and or Tuesdays, and then she goes back to DC. So I'm working a lot of Tuesdays, actually. So, all has worked out well.
Yeah. And that's an interesting phenomenon. Not a lot of them come back to their district. So that's
she comes
very
back
rare.
every weekend. Yeah, she really likes to be here.
I have a question about that, and maybe I just don't understand because I don't pay a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Who pays for all that back and forth?
Excuse me, it depends. So it depends on what the travel is for. So when Kirsten's coming back here for either for weekends for her to teach, because she usually comes back on week. She's a adjunct professor at ASU, and she teaches weekend classes or Fridays or Mondays. She pays for that. She herself. If she's coming back for in-district, they have very specific in-district work periods where they have a week every month that they are working in the district. Taxpayers pay for that as part of their congressional duties. Okay. If she's coming back if she's traveling around the country for fundraising, the campaign pays for it. So it just depends on
where you get the money from.
What you're doing.
I certainly wasn't calling anybody out. I just was curious because I didn't know. I don't know how that works.
It's an excellent question.
Thank
and
you.
many times senators don't come back at all. Because
no, I know
senators
that.
don't have to, but local people usually do because they spend their whole 2 years fundraising.
That's very right.
Because their fundraising is so it's just constant. Every 2 years they're up for re-election, and it really never stops.
It doesn't. It's actually really interesting. My uncle used to work in local politics in Illinois in congressional races and things like that, and he said there was a season, right? There was an election season, and when the election season was over, everybody went, and it was like months long, only like a period of like, let's say 6 months, that you'd ramp up and run your election and someone would win and everyone would go back to normal life and work and jobs. And that's just no longer the case. I mean, it's 24/7. I mean,
wow.
In Kirsten's campaign, there are 3 people who are employed year-round, full-time. They could be, I'm a part-timer, but that means 40 hours a week.
Part-timers 40?
Part-timer, yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean about 35, 40. Full-timers are kind of 24/7.
Like Veep.
It really is.
You just live with them.
You do. I can't tell you guys how many times I look at my life and laugh hysterically because it's just like Veep. So we were at this tasting.
you just can't explain how funny that show is.
Nobody gets it, and unless you like that humor or work in politics. So we were at this tasting recently, and it was for something for Kirsten, and I had set it up, so I'm there, and the chief of staff is there, and like our finance director, and like we're gonna do this like little dinner thing, so we're having this tasting. And I go, okay, well, this is the first drink that we might serve. And everyone has a little sample. And everyone starts going, oh, yeah, no, this is really good. And Kirsten's like, I don't know, I think it's too much tequila. And we're like, yeah, this is terrible. Too much tequila. Fire her. Fire the chef. And it was like, it's just hysterical. It really perpetuates that stereotype. I mean, it's pretty spot on. It's really funny. I mean, and
then Kent, not Kent. His name's not Kent. I never get his name right. The burnt out guy from Samantha Who that plays her chief of staff.
It's not, because Kent's the other guy, the other old kind of burnt out guy, but the one guy is so funny.
Ben.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ben is the one that everything he says, because he's so burnt out and near killing himself that he just I love him.
It's good. But actually, working in politics is very fun. Believe it or not, it's exciting, and every time I think I want to jump out, because something sucks me back in. So,
oh my god, very, very Godfather 2 or 3 or 6 or whatever.
It really is, yeah.
No, 3
and 3, 6, also 6.
Okay, so we'll start with her headline then, because I'm so glad you're here because of our our first of our many very important SCOTUS decisions. One directly affects you.
One directly affects me. So
is the independent
redistricting
committees, which was a big deal because it was specifically Arizona. And gerrymandering, well, not completely a thing of the past because there's only one independent person, right?
Yeah. So
tell us about that because it's really important.
It is.
So we'll go all political bullshit.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's actually more important than gay marriage.
It's way more important.
Yeah. And it's actually, so it ultimately affects the entire country. We were kind of that baseline case that would have affected majorly. States like California was right behind us.
Virginia suffers from it quite a bit.
Florida is fucking crazy. They don't have an IRC, but so here's what happens. In most of the states in the country, the districts, which everyone has a legislative district, which is your state representatives, and and then you also have a congressional district, which is your congressperson, of course. And So those districts in most states are drawn by the legislature. So go figure that the legislature would be drawing the maps to determine who gets to vote for them.
To keep the in-power party in power. Like,
Right.
if it's
It
Republican
is
controlled, I'm
nothing
going to
but
draw
that.
the lines.
Yeah. And so, as a matter of fact, if this would have passed, it would have negatively affected Democrats in Arizona. However, in California, it would have positively affected Democrats. So it's not a Republican-Democrat thing. It's just a party thing. Whatever your state stands. So the legislature draws these districts, and they say, and it's so wonky. It could be by groups of influence, communities of influence, minorities, different things that they kind of draw these really crazy maps. And the way that it happens in Arizona is on the 0 year, we take a census. On the 1 year, we draw the maps, and on the 2 year we have an election with those new maps. So that's every 10 years that happens on the 0, 1, and 2 of every 10 years. So the legislature, in the 90s, I think it was the 90s, the IRC started in the 90s.
I think so.
Yeah. The people voted, there was a referendum on the ballot, and the people voted that they wanted to have an independent redistricting commission. So instead of having the legislature draw these districts to favor themselves, they said, fuck that. You're gerrymandering, which gerrymandering is drawing the lines to better benefit one party versus another.
So to draw your line way over like this to get all the minorities into one group. So this, you're going to lose this district and it's going to be Democratic, but then you're going to leave all the rest of this white.
There are legitimately areas in Florida. Florida is the most gerrymandered state in the whole country.
Craziness.
And go figure.
Yeah.
That Florida's fucking fucked up. That there have been people in Florida who have literally circled. They go, here's a whole district. So picture the district as a square, and then on the left side of that square, there's like a random line and a circle around their fucking house, and a line back into the district. So they're like, I don't live over here, but I want to represent these people because they're going to vote for me because they're all white and old, or they're Puerto Rican, or they're black, or whatever. So I'm just going to draw myself this little circle.
Yeah.
I mean, so bad.
And both parties do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We just suffer from it in Arizona because the way they redistrict it is they've given up 2 or 3 that they're just like, all right, you're going to win those 3 every time.
Yeah. There's a couple districts
We'll just put you in and even though it's a big city with big populations everywhere, they draw these like lines that you're like, what the fuck is that? New York has it too. People in New York complain about it. The Democrats have done it.
Harrison's saying Texas has really bad gerrymandering, which I believe, another really big state.
Because if Florida's done it, Texas is trying it.
Yeah, they are. So anyway, the people in Arizona said, we don't like this, and we want this independent redistricting commission. So
it was created when voters approved Proposition 106 in the year 2000.
Oh, it was in 2000. So that was the first year that they did it. Okay. Yeah. So the census happened I knew it was somewhere before the 2000 census. So census happens in 2000. In 2001, IRC draws the maps. 2002, there's an election. So anyway, the commission is made up of 2 Democrats, which are selected by the Democratic members of the state legislature, 2 Republicans selected by the Republican members, and then those 4 people get together and they select an independent. So it's very fair. I mean, there's 2 Dems and 2 Rs, and they pick the independent. And that group of 5 people then draws the map. And I was not around in 2000, but in 2010, in 2011,
you were around. You just weren't working in that capacity.
Thank you. I was
like,
alive,
wow.
people. I was alive.
I was not around.
I was.
We have children.
It's like Al saying he wasn't around in the 60s.
Wait, you were? No. Yeah. No.
So in 2010, let's not insult her age.
Right? So in 2010, it was actually such an exciting. I was a big part of it. It was really, really exciting. So a guy called Justin Unga, who some people out in the ships at sea may know. He's a member of the gay community in Arizona and worked for the Democratic Party. And Justin spearheaded kind of the lobbying that was being done. Both parties, both sides were lobbying the IRC, but the lobbying was very public. It was all done through public hearings, public comment, It was all really, really transparent. There was no behind the scenes anything. There were public hearings in every part of this state all year long. And I went to some of them. And as a matter of fact, I went to a couple and I spoke about my own communities of interest and that I live in the Central Phoenix area. And I talked about schools for my young child and school districts and the gay community. And, I live here, but I work out here and I play here. And it was all about convincing this IRC how to draw the maps. Mm-hmm. The Democrats had a really, really strong strategy going into this. Really and truly, we won up to the Republicans because we organized our base. I went to one meeting. I had caught wind of a Tea Party email that went out, and this Tea Party,
it smelled.
Yeah, we were. The Democrats were really smart, and the Tea Partiers were sending out emails like this that said, "Don't let those liberal motherfuckers tread on us. Tread on us." They're using the language. Take your black and yellow flags. Wear your black and yellow Tea Party colors. Bring your flags, and you come to right. You come to these meetings and show those pussy liberals that we're not afraid.
No, these are actual words that they use in an email. That
they disseminated to like Tea Party supporters. So
I get that from Adult Swim, but I don't get that from.
Oh yeah, this is like legitimate. They're all like crazy people.
Okay.
So we get the email. So I show up to this public hearing. This is just one little story. And I go in and I walk up to the microphone. You're on record. You're on the microphone and you say who you are. And I said, I just wanted to bring to light this email. And so I read the email. And the woman that wrote it was sitting in the audience. And they're wearing all biker gear. And I was kind of nervous. But it said something about like, let's intimidate the hell out of those like pussy liberals. So I get up and I'm like, and I look directly at this woman and I go, I don't know what pussy liberals you're referring to, but I'm certainly not one of them. And then people are cheering, and it was so dramatic. So then I'm like,
I love this story.
It was great, and I like hair flipped and like walked away.
Drop the mic.
Yeah,
right.
So then not to mention
KJ out.
I'm gonna give those 2 blunts up.
So I'm also super pregnant. So I guess I was talking about my unborn child because I remember I was super pregnant, and but I had been talking about the fact that I was a lesbian and that here's all these things. I stood in the back
in front of a microphone talking. This story shocks
right?
me.
I know. Can you?
And you weren't even away? Al, you weren't even there for her to play off of.
I was stunned. No.
So
I'm a captivated audience.
As the Tea Partiers are walking out, I go to the back. This pisses them off, so they all start leaving. I got spit at, legitimately spit at.
Wow.
From men, like grown ass men.
Somebody write down spit on because I gotta story about that shit.
I will right here. Spit.
Anyway, yeah, that I was that somebody. Yeah, they did. No, yeah. And it was really, really ugly. And people were like, God damn your, go to hell, you with your unborn lesbian spawn child. I mean, people were.
Because they love children.
Wow. They do well.
It's all for the children.
That's how they do it.
You just have to be Bristol Palin.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't even. So
anyway, that's where we were before you got here.
In 2010,
I can't even.
One of the reasons that was such a big deal was that we gained an additional congressional seat because we gained an additional 1.2 million people.
Yes.
The census again in 2010. So then in 2011
we were the second fastest growing metropolis. Next to Nevada, which was largely Las Vegas, and it was largely in Phoenix here. So that's why it was such a big deal for people that don't follow local Arizona politics.
And urban centers, big cities tend to vote, especially if you watch the Virginia election. The reason why Virginia was so close was because Fairfax County took so long to get, because the bulk of people, they can count those little podunk towns to the west. My apologies, Virginia's a lovely state. You're a beautiful Commonwealth. Yeah. Love y'all.
We love you, Virginia.
But the place that had people took so long. So that's why it took so long for them to announce who won. It was never a close contest. It's just that the place where the people were, they had to count enough of them.
Yeah. So anyway, Democrats did a good job of getting people out, and the maps were drawn very fairly in the state of Arizona, if you'll ask myself. What that meant is that there are two out of our 9 congressional districts in Arizona.
Which means we have 9 Congress members.
9 Congress members.
We have 2 senators and 9 Congress members in Arizona. Because most people don't know in their states how many Congress people they have.
You're right. And so we have 9. And what that means is that there are 2 seats in Arizona that will always be Democratic. This is the way that the lines are drawn. 2 seats will always be Democrats. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4 seats will always be Republican. Doesn't matter how you slice it.
Because they're like Globe, Surprise.
Oh yeah, Peoria. Trent Franks. Trent Franks is this congressman who literally every campaign sign, all he does is put fucking babies on there and says like, "I'm pro-life," and people vote for him. It's gross.
Have you seen Dr. Ben Carlson's page?
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't. Oh, Dr. Ben. Yeah, I have not seen his page, but I'll check it out.
They're vaguely and varyingly shaded children.
It's like the colors of Benetton.
Yeah, the United Colors of Benetton.
That Dr. Ben Carlson.
I know
so
it's 30
welcoming.
years later, but
Very
I'd still,
very inclusive.
I'd still live in that
The big
that country.
tent. Dr. Ben Carlson has a big tent. That's what I heard. It's what I heard. It's what I heard.
Okay.
So,
Only
And
after
so-
a few drinks.
anyway, we've got 3.
It depends on
so,
how thin it's spread that day.
So that sounds gross. So that makes up 7. So 2 Dems, 4 Rs. We have 3 swing districts, which is totally fair and appropriate.
Yeah.
Those 3 swing districts, one of them has gone in northern Arizona back and forth between DNR, in southern Arizona back and forth between DNR, and in central Phoenix is Kirsten's district, the brand new one that went D and she's done well in. So the Republican legislature sued the Independent Redistricting Commission and said that their entire being was unconstitutional, and that essentially they basically said it's not fair. It's just not fair. We want these to be Republicans.
We have deeply held religious beliefs.
It's fucking crazy. So that's where this case came from. So it made its way to the Supreme Court. And ultimately, we've been waiting.
To this.
I know. I know how to make a long story longer.
That's where we started.
Yep. But
It's been fascinating.
so they get to the Supreme Court, and we've been on pins and needles every Monday, and then Thursday, and then Friday, and then this Monday they announced that the work of the Independent Redistricting Commission is legal and lawful, and it does not violate the Constitution of the United States, or excuse me, of Arizona. And that what the IRC did is upheld by the Supreme Court.
And it was so unexpected. It was so unexpected a result that Republicans had already hired the people and had them in place
Months ago.
and on the payroll ready to go to redistrict.
They've already been drawing maps.
They
For months.
were so confident and so cocky. They were just watching things fall like, you can have your gay marriage, you can have this shit. Arizona will be 100% Republican in 5 minutes. It was one of the most surprising decisions of this entire time.
It was the most surprising. There were political strategists in Arizona because, again, this was all happening in Arizona, but the outcome affected the rest of the country.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
There are other states with IRCs that would have now been unconstitutional, whatever. So there were Republican strategists who were going on record as saying, it is our job, after this ruling comes down, to eliminate Kyrsten Sinema from office because she's young, she's smart as hell, and she's popular. And she won her district is a Republican district, and she wins because she's a good candidate. But what that shows is that these districts are legitimately
working.
They're working. Thank you. And a Republican could beat us anytime, and so she has to stay on her toes and work for the people.
But she's more Eastern Central Phoenix than she is West.
Because Western Central, where you are, is Democrat.
Yeah,
not going to change.
Yeah,
that's one of those not going to change districts.
We're in the not going to change.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was very in a week of real, and especially if you're a political nerd like
and
clearly we are.
I've been reading SCOTUS blogs.
Oh my god!
I never knew about the SCOTUS blog.
So on board with SCOTUS blog.
I subscribe to them on Twitter, so like 3 times a week my phone blows up with like 82 messages.
I've been the SCOTUS blog is new to me as of this month, and it's so great.
And it won 6-3, right?
5 to 4.
It was 5 to 4.
It was a 5 to 4.
Just like marriage.
Yeah.
What was the 6-3 vote?
6-3 was Obamacare.
Obamacare, right? But what's really cool is that we were at work, everybody was crazy. Kirsten was stressed. Everybody was stressed. We have been raising money like it's the end of the fucking world because that's all you can do in that position. Because in politics,
they were so confident of the win.
Oh, and we were so confident of the loss.
Sure.
I mean, we were ready to lose. We were just waiting for it, and we had the email blast ready to go. We had the newsletters. We had this press release. We had the statements. We were ready. We were losing, and And
it
so
was Kennedy, right?
it
Who was
was-
who was the hero in that one? Was it
It
Kennedy?
was Kennedy and
Ginsburg-
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Notorious RBG. Oh, we are so on board.
I need the shirt.
I want my action figure.
I need the shirt. She wrote the majority and basically said the people win here. The voters win today across the country, but in Arizona, the voters win because what the voters said this, they get to select the representatives, not the fucking legislature.
And originally, because we're a republic. We're not a democracy. We're actually a republic. So senators were supposed to elect the president. That's why we have an electoral college. We don't directly do anything.
Right.
And your local legislatures were supposed to elect your senators back in the day. So this was back in, and one of the amendments fixes that. So we directly elect our senators. And this was of just a follow through of electing our own senators was causing
Directly
our own maps.
electing.
So it had such lofty. It was just such a great win, and it was such a great read. Like
The biggest.
And
win.
I love that RBG came through with that one. Like I was.
Comey can die now.
All right, kids. Hour one, we have so much more to talk about. We're doing almost a no format show tonight because so many things to talk about. However, we are coming back right after this with the drinking word, so stay with us. It's Katie June Cat Now on a Tuesday night.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America. This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Hello again, everybody. It's a little after 8 on the atomic clock on the old wall up there. It is The Show on Q Talk America. It's a Tuesday night. Oh my gosh, so much going on. In case you don't live in America, and if you don't, come visit, please, because there's so much lovely thing going on here.
I'll marry you.
Like actually marry
Same
or just
sex or
marry?
not, Al can do it.
It's been very cute to watch a lot of the people on my Facebook go, I've gone from boyfriend material to husband material. Now taking applications. I've been watching it.
Yeah.
It's all been very cute.
I still want nothing to do with it.
Oh, I got
I
you.
don't
there.
either. Actually,
I don't believe in gay marriage or straight marriage or
we
just
are coupled
marriage.
with children, and I still don't want to get married.
Wow, there's that.
Yeah, there's still discussion in my
Before
house.
we get into too many other topics, like I said, there's a whole lot to talk about with the SCOTUS things. We were just talking about congressional redistricting right now. But before we get into anything else, let's get this out of the way. It is our drinking disclaimer, and it goes a little something like this.
And now, a drink along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
What was it? It is so ordered.
What?
Yes.
That is our drinking word?
Oh my god, yes.
It is so
It
ordered.
is so ordered.
That doesn't sound very
Yep.
exciting.
We'll make it work.
Supreme Court.
is
It's
so-
the final words of the.
Well, no, I get what it is.
Alright.
It's just I figured there would be some other exciting.
One as
It could-
as
it
now
sounds like
be.
from
as
Star
now
Trek. Make
three-
it so.
75% of the panel has admitted to being part of the SCOTUS blog, kind of touching the nasty. While we read it.
Only on Tuesdays.
Well, this is, and
Twice.
I will just get into all of it later. I just have to say that when I've read, because I read Kennedy's whole decision. And Kennedy's a friend of the gays. He's been the deciding. He's been
Yes,
the,
he is.
the writer of the opinion on all three of the most important gay issues, from the sodomy laws
Yep.
It's
to
so great.
Prop
And that's
8.
obviously very, very clearly
For the Doma.
intentional. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool that he's like,
No.
I'm taking
He's
these.
like, this is my jam.
I'm taking these ones.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I really had no faith in this. I really thought this would go the other way because
Really?
I
I
really
didn't.
thought this was a weak case. I honestly didn't think that they had made it to make other states recognize it. I really thought they may force the other courts, but they wouldn't. Like, I just wasn't sure.
I guess I can hear that, but I think that the time. I mean,
no.
and
I don't. I thought making states recognize other states was the stronger case.
Oh,
but
versus making
forcing the ones in the
all
middle that
states
had
do
said,
it,
no,
right.
we did a ban. All right, you get your ban.
Right.
If you've already
Yeah,
passed it.
no, I hear you.
But you do have to honor the other states because
Yeah.
it's a contract. So I really thought it was going to be split like that. But I certainly got the Windsor case completely wrong too because I thought that they would just throw out Prop 8. I didn't think they'd decide on it.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought it would be so ordered that they would just say, no, there's no one has a dog in this hunt.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to sue California when the AG of California, the governor of California, if no one is standing up taking the side of California, then this case has no merit. Go fuck off. It goes back to the lower court.
Find us
ruling.
another case that actually has somebody fighting.
Some merit. So I honestly did not
do you think
see that coming.
And I know it's hard to say because there's
And this was a week with a terrorist attack. There was 3 terrorist attacks on
lot of
Friday.
shit going
This was
on.
a big. There's a major funeral in Charleston. This was a big news week. That, like, if you're a news junkie like I am, this was just crack cocaine for days.
I know.
You weren't leaving the house for hell or
I
high
don't
water.
normally watch CNN very much. I don't usually normally I have on like Disney Junior, but
I like their news.
Are you a Mickey Mouse Club kind of family?
we've moved on to Octonauts.
I fucking love the Octonauts. The Vegemals are my favorite. by
Okay,
the way.
we're not. Oh yeah, the little
Yeah.
guys.
Okay.
So, but I've had CNN on like a crazy person, and I'm like loving it.
Yeah.
And my mom and I, like, I think our relationship has grown closer in last week because all we do is like text each other about CNN, and we're like, oh my god, did you see this? Oh my god, did you see this? Oh my god, did you hear this?
And Fox News, and they had it. They had the metal divider, and they had the pro-marriage people on the left and the anti-marriage people on
a metal
the right.
divider, is that a thing they need to have?
Yeah. They keep the protesters separate so that they don't intermingle and hurt each other. Like, they do keep a
Right.
distance. There was and there was security.
Oh, this
little,
is
like, cattle
outside of
guards or
their
This was
like.
outside of the Supreme Court, and they had it every day.
Oh,
so-
I thought you meant Fox News.
No.
I'm sorry.
But if
I
you-
heard the same
They
thing.
need some cattle
Thank
guards
you.
over there too.
Okay, so what I meant was they have the people, they have the pro-marriage people on the left side as
Yeah.
you're looking at the court, and they have the anti-marriage people on the right
Yeah.
as you're looking at it. Well, there was no room on the pro-marriage side. Like, that thing was packed to the tits.
Yeah.
But there's lots of empty space. So Fox News and I think ABC just went to the left because there was no room. So when the decision came down, CNN was broadcasting from the revelers and actually was there to get the call from the president for the
Right,
guy, the guy
yes.
whose name was on it. They had all this breaking news. And there's the guy at Fox News, and they're trying to make it look busy behind him. And you could watch them in the long shots, like stand behind him, stand behind him, stand behind him. Put that sign down, stand behind him.
Yeah, that's so
And
funny.
they're clearly standing at an empty Supreme Court step.
Yeah,
And then
oh,
you go
that's so
over and
great.
I just kept flipping back and forth. Then you go to the CNN people and they're like, we have the president on the line with good news. And all of a sudden everyone starts singing. Did they sing the Star Spangled Banner?
Yes. Oh my god! And someone said, "Why did who was that singing?" And they're like, "They're the gay." They go, "Who?" Someone
Gay
wrote
men's
on
choir?
Facebook like, "Who was that singing the Star Spangled Banner?" It sounded great. And they're like, "Well, they're the gays, honey. Of course, it sounded great."
So
They're gay.
So you have the and all Fox did was cover the negative part, and all the people talking about religious freedom. And they're all alone. They're standing on an empty step with a faint sound of the
gay men's chorus.
Hark! So let it be ordered, or whatever it's called. It was just so funny to watch where they set up from, and you couldn't hear. Like, you could tell they were like, "Please put your microphone right to the mouth." But CNN knew, like, get on this side of the line. Like, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be crowded around.
Right, but just do it. Well, Kelly and I were watching. So I always I turn on just before 7 every morning the Today Show, and I like the Today Show in the morning, and it's fluffy, and I like it. So they go on that Thursday. They're like cut to immediately. I mean, 7 o'clock, and it immediately went to an NBC special report, and we knew it was coming out probably that day. And so Kelly and I mean, it was like crazy. We're sitting at the TV, and Kelly's like, "What do you think happened?" They're like, "We have the results in, but the guy is like." standing there on camera, kind of like doing one of these things with his ear, like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like sort of reading the decision. And Kelly sees
after
guys,
the intern has run it across.
and Kelly sees men in pink shirts way off in the background hugging. And she's like, oh my God, well, we won. Look, there's homos in the background hugging. They're having
Visual cue.
So funny. She goes, they're wearing pink. We won. I was just so cute. And we both, like, it was really interesting. I didn't expect to be emotional about it, and like I started crying, and Kelly gave me a big hug, and like Palmer was in the middle of it. It was like a very like really feel good emotional moment, which was interesting because we already have gay marriage in Arizona, and we are not like looking to get gay married, but it was just such a big
it was a funny thing because
emotional moment
because I'm a nerd. So Wednesday night I stayed up to see because they had announced the announcement date Thursday and Friday. They added court dates.
This was on Friday, right? Because Thursday was
they had made announcements that we're gonna do all 7 rulings on Monday. So Thursday and Friday they were gonna open the court and let out some info. So I stayed up. So I wasn't sure what was gonna come out first. So Wednesday night I think I was watching Orange Is the New Black. So I'm like, oh, so good. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna stay up till 7 o'clock our time. I'll watch Orange Is the New Black. I'll flip over and see what the Supreme Court does. Then I'll go to bed. So then Wednesday night into Thursday, I was like, well, I really thought they were going to save gay marriage for Monday, but I'm like, I really want to see the EPA ruling, and I want to see what
most important.
I want to see the EPA, and I want to see what they're doing with the redistricting. I'm like, they'll throw that in on Friday and like drop the mic and leave. Like they'll be like, oh, fuck you, we're just going to leave the gerrymandering to the people. So I'm at work and I'm refreshing the screen because I have an orientee, so I'm not really doing anything. I'm just watching her work. So I just keep refreshing the screen. And all of a sudden my phone lights up and I'm like, no, it's not. Like, no, I don't believe you. Like, it's not on. And I keep stuff on. When I'm looking for like good news, I look to Fox News. Yeah. Because if Fox News admits to it,
then it's legit.
Like when Fox News says, yeah, the baby's dead, then you know that's, going down with the ship. So I just kept refreshing Fox News and nothing was happening and and my orientee was like, well, should I talk? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. Put the IV in. Tell the family he's dead. I just don't care.
Just go with it.
Give him Tylenol. It is so ordered.
It is so ordered. I don't know what to drink. I've got so many choices. So
I had to finish one really quick so that I would have less choices.
So I was elated. And again, like, not in a relationship, don't believe in marriage of any kind, but again, I'm so caught up, and I had to text my coworkers who I was so excited for them last year.
Yes,
they got married immediately, and now it's legal. They're Canadian emigrants. I never sure which.
Do they come from Canada or did they go
Canada?
So they're immigrants.
Canada.
If they left,
if
they
went
immigrants.
to Canada.
They came from Mexico.
Now we all just call it. So let it be ordered. It is so ordered.
It is so
Canada.
But it was just an exciting day, and with it comes divorce because we will treat marriage with the same respect that the heterosexuals do.
Gay Divorce Court is going to be a show I want to be a commentator on.
I have so many feelings on gay marriage, and I don't want to we're overtaking, but
go
just so.
And we have a new person, Amina. I'm not sure who Amina is.
I believe in the chat room she's a new listener.
If we're pronouncing it correctly, please.
You're right. Fox was cray, girl. It was, or boy. It was really.
Or boy.
They were nutso. And so what I thought was just great is
and right to Tony Perkins.
There was this.
I mean, they seriously couldn't get to Karl Rove and Tony Perkins fast enough.
There was this guy. Did you see this thing just today? In some Tennessee, I think, a little tiny town in Tennessee. This crazy ass pastor who also owns a hardware store,
you do,
took a piece of paper like this, 8.5 by 11 piece of white paper, and just wrote in marker, "No gays allowed."
Yes.
I feel like it sounds like that. Like I can't even say it hicky enough to make it like sound like what I think
Tyler,
he invented. Tyler from Tennessee. Right. And he taped that shit to his window. Mm-hmm.
I saw a picture of it.
I can't.
We don't want no gays around here.
No gays
allowed.
I am so on board with this. I'm so on the other side.
Yes, we've talked about this week after week.
Own it. I have such respect for you. And let the free market do what it wants to. You're going to get your Christian crazies. And then the rest of people are going to be like, oh, no. I can't.
And actually, because most of the companies that have made the news nationally for discriminating against gay people, it's usually like wedding industry people, but like the cake people, the photographers, most of them have gone out of business.
Good.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, I hate to say that, but I
so
hope you do.
say it out loud, say it loud, say it proud, say I'm discriminating against you.
But
and
somebody
let it happen.
This guy said,
I came out.
my opinion's not going to be popular. And the way he said something about in his article that someone else said, he's just looking to close shop and then get a Kickstarter, like that other company did. And so, then I kind of thought, let this fucker just go under quietly. Just let him have his thing, and people can support him, people can't. But what's so weird to me, all of the things like, how do you know someone's gay when they come into your shop, etc. I mean, all just the weirdest stuff.
No,
so he's just doing it for attention.
But now we're at the Harvey Milk point. Now you just announce it. When you see the no gay sign allowed, you just stand up and be like, I want to buy that, that, and that. I'm gay.
Yeah.
What happens now? And you just it's a little provocative. It's a little bit of a showdown, but everybody just own your shit.
Yeah.
And then watch and see if he says, God, I love business.
Yeah.
I really love selling shit.
I don't think he's going to. He's a weird Baptist minister. But I also, what I don't understand
I think we just agreed to this different thing.
Yeah. I agree, but I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear you. I don't think he's...
show your colors.
Yeah.
Let the world just filter out who's going to go and who's not. But when you fail... Don't bitch.
Yeah,
we don't
shut the fuck up.
You can't say a goddamn word because everybody didn't want to come to my store.
And don't go to Kickstarter and don't ask for a handout.
Stop with the Kickstarter fucking
so
shit.
annoying.
When I get a Kickstarter account, then you can all get a Kickstarter account.
I'm always looking for the reason to have a Kickstarter
Me
account.
too.
I'm always on the verge of it.
I'm not good with the victim card.
What were you going to Kickstarter for?
But having a baby. We started researching it, and there's a whole shitload of people out there who are looking for money for babies. But a lot of them had cancer, and I don't want
people
that.
Buy them all the time.
It was really, so we chose clearly not to kickstart for a child. We're just going to pay for it. But
like you do.
Anyway, so here's what someone on CNN said, and I can't remember who it was in the barrage of people that were on.
They brought every white person they could find.
Was it Wolf?
It wasn't Wolf. No, It wasn't a commentator. It was like some specialist person.
And if you're going to be talking about the Holocaust, should your name really be Wolf Blitzer? Why not call yourself
I am a Wolf Blitzer
that is his
fan.
given name.
I love it too, but doesn't it sound like... It just sounds like a headline that SNL would read.
Obama,
Wolf Blitzer tells
he
you
had
about
me
the
on
Holocaust.
the edge of my seat. Every time he came on the screen, he said, breaking news!
Oh, yeah. And I love his voice,
My
too.
name is still
Breaking
Wolf.
news. Yeah.
I'm certainly not selling it in any convincing way. Yeah.
So they had some special guy on there. And I don't know, the way he said it, as if no one has ever said it like this before, made so much sense. And he just said, fuck, and now I can't remember the way he amazingly
I was like,
so eloquently put it.
Wow.
Was basically just like
that is breaking news.
In order for you to have your I'm gonna have to find it.
Paraphrase, I'll find it.
But in order for you to have your religion, you don't have to put down my beliefs. Like it was something like, in order that you don't feel discriminated upon, you don't have to discriminate upon me. Like how to, it's basically
you don't have to knock me down to raise yourself up.
Canceling discrimination, right? Like you have to discriminate against me so that you don't feel discriminated against. It was obviously talking about gay rights versus religious freedoms, which is just totally insane. And I heard this Monica Lindstrom on the Mac and Gatos show. I was talking today, and I was pissed at Mac and Gatos, and I normally like them because they didn't take the opportunity to talk about just how fucking asinine this whole gay marriage thing is. But what she said is, there are states like Alabama and Tennessee and some states in the South that are choosing to not issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples.
Alabama's going to drag it out to the fullest letter of the law
25
because
days.
they are the one. Well, they're the ones where the highest
Roy
judge
Moore.
in their state, right? He ordered his people not to obey the higher court, which was
one of the districts.
I don't remember, one of the districts, right? Yeah, he was the one that was like,
And he compared it to the Holocaust today.
Is that right?
Well, that's fun.
You just set your watch to the first time that something goes wrong and Republicans compare it to the Holocaust. There it is.
What did he say?
He said that gay marriage was along the lines of the Holocaust of the Jews. Just outright. Just type up Roy Moore. It was quote of the day to offend 99.9% of the nation.
So Lizzie the Leslie over here getting married to Robin
Is basically like shoving Jews into like ovens.
Millions of people dying for no apparent
And
reason.
it's a fair
horrible.
Do we get a museum out of it where shoes are and
Genocide
glasses for
by-
people who died?
Listen,
I like
if they're my
shoes.
shoes, I don't have very good
You
shoes.
know you're a
but
gay man when you think it's a shoe museum.
I don't have.
No, but the Holocaust.
All the Jewish
that's one of the,
people's shoes.
I got some good
No, that's one of the
shades.
poignant things about the Holocaust Museum. It shows all the,
The
shoes.
shoes.
No,
I got some
from all-
nice
I gotcha.
handbags, so I'll be willing to give all of
Not
those.
the handbags. I don't think there were a lot of
Lampshade.
handbags in
Look how pretty their
Auschwitz.
teeth were.
Auschwitz was not known for its
No, but
handbags.
it should. But I can give them to the gay.
But you know there's a
death
section
museum.
of that too.
I don't know. I just know of the shoes.
OMG, I'm not sure where
Oh
we
my
went
God.
And I'm a
just now.
bad gay
Wow.
guy because I only have 3 pairs of black shoes and I ain't got nothing else.
So you won't be in the museum.
Nope, don't care. But I'll wear black shoes too when I go. They're silent-soled shoes so I can walk
So
quietly.
But I
across.
love the
Atta
part that
girl.
in this scenario we're the Nazis. That's my favorite. That's why.
That is the
Yeah.
weirdest. It's so weird. I feel like we should
No.
say it is like the Holocaust, and you
No.
are Heil Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah. It actually, my weekend kind of turned a little bittersweet because we had like the Supreme Court. Yay! You know, Oprah's on the steps. Gay marriage for everyone. You get gay marriage and you get gay
I
marriage.
love that.
Yeah. And I really
tried to
wanted
return
Oprah.
mine.
I really wanted Oprah to come out and do that. I wrote a letter and nobody answered.
Oh, well, it's really sad.
But then what happened is because I am such a social media whore and I'm like watching everyone else and all the rainbow profile pictures went,
I had
and that
to
was
do it.
fun.
I got hooked.
And I totally did it, and some unlikely people in my life did
Yeah.
it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's
Me too.
cool. It's good. But then what I started watching was contacts of mine being viciously attacked. Like that's the part that bummed me out all weekend. Like I have friends whose family have basically just used the Supreme Court as an excuse to attack the shit out of them. Like one guy's brother viciously just like
what did
came
he
up,
say?
like out in Facebook and was like, I can't believe this is the worst day in America and you people have ruined America and you are disgusting and I can't believe that you're my brother. Like I know, to some poor sweet, gay boy that I know from from somewhere. I don't even see him.
Do you know
very
what
often,
I? Do you know what I wonder?
I feel like we all have a
Like-
common friend on Facebook, or I don't know how I stumbled across him.
or did, depending on how the weekend went.
Yeah, how it went. But the shoeseum. That's funny. The shoeseum. It's my shoeseum. And his father just hates him. He's a singer. I don't know him personally. I've just stumbled across his writings here and there. And he's a singer, and his father just literally hates him.
No.
And like there's just constant barrages from his father trying to justify his hatred. And you just want to tell this guy, like, eliminate this fucker from your life. Yes,
Yeah.
he's the sperm donor, but he is not your father. Like,
No.
Luke,
I was
But
gonna
I
just say
will
that.
wrote it. It is
All
so
wrong,
ordered.
Luke.
Like this guy is not your father. Like
As
he
a-
has no love for you. He has no respect for you. He has, and I actually wrote him a letter. I'm like, he has no place in your life. Cut him loose. Like, just I know it's a hard
Good for
thing,
you.
but
Somebody needs to.
Yeah, and
he
I'm-
needs to hear that.
I'm like,
You know,
hey,
it's-
people die all the time. Kill this fucker out of your story.
God.
As
You know
it
what I
turns
mean?
out, though,
Yeah.
it's not that easy for everyone to just like cut hateful people loose. You know what I mean? Like some people
But if you're only communicating through Facebook, it's really
Right.
easy. If they
Yeah.
live with you or you live with them, yes, that's hard. But if your communication is through Facebook,
delete.
Yeah. No, I was talking to actually a straight friend of mine had posted something about, like, hey, this is the happiest day ever, and if you don't agree, so like maybe today's the day to unfriend me. Peace out. And it was actually her sister-in-law that got all like crazy Bible and brought up like all kinds of old shit and just like kind of used that as like the sparking point.
And also, remember that one time in
Right.
1983 when you
Exactly. No, and it
like,
became
took my crock
like
pot.
that whole big thing, and I was kind of talking to her about it, and she was like kind of sharing everything with me, and I was like, look, here's the thing, like I'm a burn the house down because there's a spider in the kitchen kind of a girl.
so can you imagine how I feel about you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd have cut her the fuck out after the second message. I'd have been like, I don't care whose brother you are, or sister-in-law. So yeah, I don't care who your brother is. Like, bye, Felicia.
And
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that. Like, not everybody has the insensitivity to other people to do that. You know what I mean? Because the people that I've cut out, maybe it hurt other people in my life and in my, and any family members that maybe I've kind of shut the door on. Like, maybe that kind of hurt my mom, or maybe that kind of hurt somebody. But I didn't give a shit. I was like, bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Some of you well, obviously you all are friends of mine on Facebook. I actually
No,
eliminated.
I've never met you.
Right?
Teresa?
Yes.
Is that you?
Yes.
Rachel.
Could you at least use a name that starts with a C?
Rachel.
Because there's so many. Constantine,
Rachel.
Connie,
Connie?
Constance.
Connie, is that you?
Yeah.
Caller, are you there?
You gave up on all the M
Drew.
names for Marnie.
I've used them all.
Called her Teresa today.
25 more letters.
Somebody that I oddly had in the past, I don't know, I guess in the past year, I had become friends with on Facebook. And though I had known him, I'd worked with him for years ago, back in my corporate days. And I just was so astounded. I've been kind of astounded over several months of watching different posts that he would post. And we had commented on other things, not political, but like somebody will post a picture of something this, or he would make a comment in regards to his family, like they were doing something, and I would, God, your kids have gotten so big since I last saw them, which has been, 18 years ago, because they grow up,
As they do.
As they do. But it was just interesting to go through all that. Like I said, I'd shared an office with him. Funny guy. We had some great times together in the working world. I'd been to dinner at his house. So many fun things. And then all of a sudden, I just see this streak of, ranting about the liberal media and loving Fox News and nobody vets stories and this and that. And then when the whole marriage thing blew up, oh my God. And then the flag, the Confederate flag thing, so many things blew up. And I'm just like, I'm not even going to reach out and try to justify or engage any of this. I just simply eliminated him because I don't think he'll ever realize that. But it was what I equated it to, and in the post that I made was, it's the double standard of, well, it's about gays in general, but not you.
Yeah.
To me, it's equivalent to being like, well, I have gay friends. Or I have, some of my best friends are black.
Yeah.
No.
It is so ordered that your best friends are black.
You either are in or you're out. You can't get to pick and choose who you're going to support and who you're not, because it's a blanket statement. It's a civil right. Mm-hmm. It's not going to affect your world and your marriage at all, or none of that bullshit. Drove me crazy. And I had a lot of people.
And if it does affect your faith or your marriage, boy, are you in trouble.
Yeah, you got a lot bigger issues than me and Jose or Hose B getting married down the road somewhere. You got a lot bigger issues. Well,
so fun.
Like I made the comment earlier.
He's my favorite Hose.
If gay marriage if the fact that gays can get married affects your marriage, one of you's gay. Yeah. There's a problem bigger than the fact that I can now legally get married to whoever the fuck I want to. So it was unfortunate. But the nice thing about that was, with that post, so many people commented on it about being supportive and this and that. And 2 people commented, and she may be listening. I don't know if she does. I doubt it, but I've never heard that she did. My Aunt Teresa back in Missouri.
I've been calling for her all week.
Sent me a private message on Facebook and says, I read your post. I saw that. I wanted you to know that I have always supported you, whether or not I voiced it. And I know this only from the standpoint of reading her entire Facebook page. There's never anything like that on her page.
She just
Nothing
stays
derogatory
away from it.
Right. She talks about quilts and things that she does in her little hobbies. Right. She doesn't ever get off that. But
God bless
NTT. I haven't talked to Teresa since my mom's mom passed away. Wow. It's been a long time. But for her to have just simply reached out and just sent me a message saying, look, I just want you to know I'm on your side.
She can still quilt and do her other stuff. Like,
and
be married.
Whoever gets married down the street, I'm still quilting.
But it was so... It was so nice.
And then
the other side of this coin was years and years ago, I used to run around with a band that was out of a small town called Paducah, Kentucky.
I feel like that's a song.
No,
I used to run around with a band.
Anyway,
I went to BJ's.
Their children from that part of the country, they do a lot of things where they perform in churches, or they're doing this and that. It actually is the son of you've heard me talk about the friends of mine who actually perform for Graceland. He's an Elvis sound-alike singer. He tours with them.
So cool.
Anyway, his son, who actually is a minister or an aspiring pastor or whatever it is, he and his wife sent me a message saying, on board, we're all about this, everybody should have their own civil rights. I just was astounded that somebody that I never thought would have ever come out and said, we're on your side, got it. But then there are people that I totally thought were on the side, and I'm like, wow, you're not in the same ballpark. We're just going to have to part ways. And one of the things that I said on my statement was, if you leave, don't let me know you're leaving. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're leaving. It only matters if you're going to stay, because it matters in 2 ways. Either you are a true friend or you're just going to be a dick. So it only mattered those 2 different ways. But it was interesting to see how many people came out of the woodwork and just were supportive that you didn't expect. And well, just like what you were saying, there were somebody who was a family member that came out of the. You're like, you would never have expected those words to come from them.
And I went through my few friends that have.
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them. My few friends that are right leaning or just pure straight up Republicans. That we still have we have debates and stuff like that, mostly
But
private.
friendly,
Occasionally,
or
we'll
you can still like them.
Occasionally,
naturally.
we'll comment on the page on accident and get caught up in Obama's a crazy Nazi.
Obama killed my dog.
Obama's at fault for everything, and then we just have to remember to take it to a private conversation, and we back off.
Right.
But on his page, and I have great respect for him. We've been friends, for most of our adult lives. It was this thing from a pastor, and it was so like condescending and apologetic. And I have to tell you, I read it, and it probably took me about 40 minutes to compose some kind of an answer of like delete of this whole like condescending answer of like, we have to accept this for how they are because we're unpure in our hearts too. We don't, condemn people that are divorced. We don't condemn people for this. So we really need to find it in our hearts to love the sinner and find this way. And I could see if you were like a confused Christian that has to find a way to like another human being, which to me just means you're a confused person that needs to find
an asshole.
Yeah. Right. You need someone to tell you why to be kind to other human beings.
You're just an asshole.
And I just don't think that in their tone of the person sending the message and the person receiving the message don't realize it was like talking to a retard and being like, "Oh, you're just like the rest of us.
You just don't
you
get
put a
it,
strap on that and a helmet, and you could probably ride a bicycle." It was so mean-spirited.
Almost sounded like Palin to me.
Because it was.
It is actually.
And
That's her.
It was so ordered by this fucktard. And I really had to keep doing that because I have many friends. I honestly do have many friends who are very religious, and I have great respect for them and their belief in false things and invisible people.
Go on with your bad self.
Magic.
Yeah. Do what you got to do if it brings you
like
peace. I'm all
too.
for it. Just don't write some condescending letter telling some fucking part of your flock that if I just buck up and do the right thing, you can like me. I don't like you.
Yeah.
Let's just start the conversation.
I don't need
with,
you.
Well, and then
I
don't
think
like
you are morally simple.
I just
and that's kind of
and I just can't say that enough. Like, I find your morals not you. I'm yelling at you like it's you.
I can take it because my morals point like northwest.
But I find these people that write these condescending things saying like, "Well, you're a sin." I'm not a fucking sinner, you fucking moron. I don't read your goddamn book.
And then the flip side of that.
And you know what? If I'm going to sin, I'm going to have a party for it, and we're going to give it 2 blunts up.
2 blunts up at a girl.
Yay, 2 blunts up. Fuck you.
So
if I'm
it be
sinning, I'm doing
ordered.
a smile on my face.
Yeah.
So
you know
it
what
is
we learned
ordered.
from
It is
Lost?
so ordered.
Dead is dead. There's no afterlife. There's none of that bullshit. Dead is
Yeah.
dead.
That's what I've been saying for
Cat
years.
go, and then I have something too. You've been waiting.
Okay. No, you're
Oh,
fine.
but we have to do the spit on you thing. Can I just let's just tack this on. So
All right, then I'm gonna go for
this minister / priest.
Do we have any more?
Is this in
Yeah,
New York?
we're gonna make that. Yes, it's
Make
in
it
New York
so.
City.
I
and
read
Pride.
just a headline.
And all my Christian friends that are trying to be like, oh, it's religious liberty, and they're trying to be supportive, and I kept them on my page because I believe that they're dumb, simple, you should wear a helmet and a strap to ride a bicycle hearts are in the right place. But they're like, this priest just commented that someone spit on him. So you know what I put on all their pages? God hates fag signs. I was just like, oh, could this be in response to your religion's response to me?
Yeah, maybe
And you should see all of those people shut down. Oh, someone spit on you? Does it feel like this? Does it feel like God hates fags or AIDS is God's plan? Like
AIDS,
it's a cleansing and all that.
God made AIDS for you.
Does this feel like being spit on? And my one friend in New York, and we have a connection through adoption and stuff. And I told him, I'm like, there's ugly people on every side. And then I posted that sign, and like all these people from high school were like, yeah, we're going to have to go on Al with this one. Like, one person being spit on compared to those signs, neither is right. Not one person is in the right. The spitter and the person with the sign,
but
neither
it's
are
the
right.
same fucking thing.
But you just understand what it feels like to read that sign. Because we'll just change it to Italians, people who adopt children. Pick whatever group you want to be a part of. God hates you. Read that sign and see who you want to spit on. And this guy was so pandering. He was one of those people that wrote one of those letters. This priest that's like, I'm so accepting and I love everyone. But I was walking through Manhattan during Gay Pride and I was spit upon. And it turned into parody almost immediately. Like if you've seen this guy and it's all over Facebook, all your religious friends are posting it. Trust me, it's a big hashtag now. that we're the evil people because we spit on this man, a man of the cloth. And
I should talk about being spit on a pregnant woman. I mean, a pregnant woman spit on by Tea Partiers.
That's what made me think of it, because I'm like, oh, because your side is so fucking pure.
Yeah.
But the best part is
you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Is what I was told, and then spit on.
Yeah. So when someone puts that thing up, if someone puts that on you about this priest, because priests have never done anything wrong,
and tag the handful of coworkers.
Yeah, ask the Catholics. Priests are just they're beyond reproach. So if someone puts that on there, just put a God hates fags sign on there, or one of the church's signs, and just ask, did it feel something like this? That's my new thing. That's the response to that. Because at first I was like, well, that's kind of terrible. Like that's an awful thing that someone is spitting on them. But first off, we didn't know you got spit on. But I know this sign exists. Yeah, exactly. Because it's fucking everywhere.
Do you know,
that was my spit on story.
I don't know.
I'll mark that off on my list.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel pretty lucky. I think that the majority, or not. I mean, I would say I feel pretty lucky that the majority of the people on my Facebook page, I don't know that I've had anyone be nasty. And
no one was. I'm just saying that these,
I know.
These couple friends just put these, and they don't know they're condescending. Like, you don't know when you're talking to someone with disabilities, when you know what I mean?
When you say things like,
did someone tell you you weren't?
You doing good today.
Yeah, like they don't know how they're talking to you. Marty is probably killing herself.
She's rolling over.
She's throwing herself into the shark tank. Yeah. Give me with the sharks. And Amina, if I could interrupt you, because you're used to that. So Amina, who's from Nairobi, is just said, that's so Palin. I'm worried about the culture in Nairobi that Sarah Palin has made it to you.
Aim low.
Yeah.
We've really brought the bar down.
So Palin.
And that's the same thing here. I mean, in America, homophobic counties, the states with the most, the states that vote for Republicans are the ones without health care, that are suffering from
all
epidemics.
The ones that wanted Obamacare gone, are all of the ones that
need it.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah. Ooh. No, and some of them can't, but it's fucktards.
You're such a giver. Kat Carlson is
and then we
serving
have the California news, too, about their legislature passing the thing about... This has been the busiest fucking news week of my life.
Biggest.
Where that's coming from.
The blender? It's from your kitchen.
No, I know. Jesus. No, the leak in the blender. I'm not. I keep trying to figure that out.
It's because she didn't spread herself thin enough.
Oh.
That sounds so sexual.
You need some caulking. Whoa!
Definitely sexual.
There's two things about California. I'm not sure what you're going to bring up, but I got another thing. But you continue on.
Hopefully, it has to do with caulking.
Yeah, California still talking.
Kinda, because we're going to use the transition from Bristol to Sarah in a minute.
California passed in their legislature. We're not sure how Jerry Brown will vote on it, but it's not veto proof, so he could veto it. So far, that there is no more.
The vaccination.
Sarah Palin.
I have personal feelings about. Exactly.
I veto Sarah Palin.
Feelings about. Oh God, two things then. First off, did you hear what her answer was to the drought?
That's what I was going to talk about.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We'll let you have that
I didn't hear it.
But, so California legislature, and I'm not sure if Jerry Brown has done anything about it yesterday or today. The legislature has said no more personal... I don't feel like it getting out of vaccination.
Unless it's a medical issue.
An allergy.
Religion, nothing else.
And are there...
religion's off the table too.
That's what I said. Religion, nothing else.
So I don't
just
know.
Only
are there
medical.
Other options for folks with allergies, right? Like Palmer's may be allergic to amoxicillin, so they give her amoxicillin, whatever.
Now, and there are things for like...
Azithromycin is what they give her.
I think... No, but
something
I'm not sure because
Cetafir.
Like the flu vaccine has some kind of egg component in it. So if you're allergic to eggs, you can't get. There's some vaccines you can't get. So
you can't drink this drink, and you're so sad.
Did it turn out okay?
Sad for life.
It's delicious. Yeah. Ruthie would be so proud.
Good. Yeah, it did.
It's my first day making drinks.
Oh my God. Welcome to the blender, Kat Carlson.
Now here's something interesting. Harrison says he signed it. So now in California, you can be grandfathered in. I think your gateways are kindergarten and 7th grade in California for when you have to your vaccinations are due. I think 7th grade is the older one.
It sounds.
And you can be grandfathered in and make it to 7th grade, and then you have to be vaccinated or be homeschooled. So I'm curious, and Harrison says that chiropractors are shitting themselves. Please tell me chiropractors aren't anti-vaccines.
It sounds like it the way she said that.
That's weird.
Because, I mean, chiropractors can cure a lot of things, but not the measles.
Maybe there's more to the
Sarah Palin
to the
is
law
a joke. Wait. in Nairobi, and so is the Tea Party.
Oh, good.
Oh, that makes me feel good, but also it's so depressing that like those are those
that
things
joke
are
makes
like
it across.
representative
Yeah.
of
That's a joke
what
that
the
I
United
hope can't
States
swim.
is. God damn it, they're assholes. Not you, Nairobians. Just Sarah Palin and the Tea Party.
For real.
So Sarah Palin
Anti-countries.
comes out in a video and she's figured it out. She
Oh,
knows
good.
all
Figured it out.
about the drought in
God
California.
bless.
She knows exactly.
Amen. I put my hand up in the air.
Because it's all the crazies.
It is so ordered.
It's the crazies out there in the political in California. They just need to build more reservoirs.
Well, they're fucking liberals.
The liberals.
Is
They
that right?
They
Yeah.
just need to build more
If
reservoirs.
they just build more reservoirs,
Now, what
they
will
would have
come?
more
To
water.
What-
put
It will
no
come,
water
amen.
in.
She's
No.
going with the
Come,
field
amen.
of dreams theory.
If
So-
you build it, they will come. I'll
What
allow
she
it.
says, and I was looking for the video to play the actual audio for it, but she says now they're coming after your personal private property. They're doing water restrictions.
And shorter showers.
And the biggest thing, why are people leaving California in droves? Because you can't take long showers.
Oh my god.
That's what she says.
No, but she said, I can't believe they would cut down the watering on your beautiful golf courses.
Yeah.
Shut
Okay.
the fuck up. She
Is that
said
what
that
she
out
said?
loud.
You are suffering from
Yes, she
white
says
woman
it.
problems.
She said that out loud.
Yeah,
Out loud.
in a
No,
video.
Your beautiful
Oh my God, Clayton,
golf
you've gotta
courses.
find
golf
it.
courses.
It's-
and
It's literally everywhere. It went viral about 4 hours
So
ago.
she doesn't
We can
understand
listen to the
that
whole
if
video
things
just
don't
if I-
change
Anything?
and get
Oh, I
better,
found it. God, I found
people
it.
won't have water to drink
Yeah, or live or
or grow crops
to eat food.
A
But
big
that golf
agriculture.
is beautiful.
And seriously, like if you want to get superficial about it, they won't have water to grow the grapes that make the wine. But showers. See, look
Yeah.
how panicked
Well,
you are about that.
You know,
but
fuck your
when it
golf
really-
course. Grow my wine.
Right.
Yeah,
grow
but
the
I mean,
wine.
Fuck
like,
your
really
golf
comes down
course.
to it. I mean, like,
Grow
it
my
is
wine.
No, California is
terrifying.
like very close to not having enough water
about not
for
wine,
the people to
but
drink.
yes, drinking
To
water,
produce the things
And
that they
someone-
produce.
Food.
It will devastate their economy.
Cows.
No,
Agriculture.
our economy.
almonds.
Right,
Someone-
ours. No,
someone,
for sure.
someone from California put in the chat room how much of our nation's produce they
comes
grow.
from California.
A
A
lot.
large
It's shocking.
percentage.
They're like the 5th largest
Yeah.
economy in the world to start off with. But their share of our agricultural nation is ridiculous.
I love my
It's a
fucking,
lot,
I
yeah.
love my California avocados.
See,
I really love them.
But stay away from almonds. Almonds are now the new
Almonds are the new thing you don't eat. I know.
Yeah, they're
I was
the new white supremacists. They're the rebel flag.
it's like the
that is-
Holocaust.
And
all
we
over
already
It's
again.
really-
can you imagine?
It is true.
And we also lived through the week where Southerners heard what was wrong with the rebel flag. Like,
Oh,
it's like
this
eyes
has
were
literally
open.
been this is all Obama's fault.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Oh God.
All of it.
Are you
So
ready
I
to play
found.
it?
So I found. Now the video is 2 minutes long. I think we can suffer through 2 minutes.
God, I wish we could listen. Yes.
I
So-
feel like we
the whole
can.
thing.
But we
Go
can.
ahead,
But
2
what
minutes.
I'm gonna pull our mics down because we don't need a
You-
bunch
you
of. We need
can,
to
yeah.
hear this.
Yeah.
The
Right.
stupidity within this
Everybody
video.
else, shut the fuck up.
So I'm gonna cut our mics. We're gonna play this. This is
These are really good.
a Sarah Palin channel video on California drought and the solution that is really it's obvious.
Oh my goodness, California. Such an ideal state. Oh man, just close to perfection. Except your politicians. Wow, your politicians. For instance, it sounds like Californians, you're going to be showering less if your Governor Jerry Brown gets his way. California has been suffering from a long-term drought. Most people are aware of that. Governor Brown's answer, though, to that drought is to impose a 25% water reduction on California's cities and towns. His main target are those really nice landscapes and lawns on golf courses and campuses and cemeteries and private property, your yards. Well, as long as those long showers that maybe you take. Any Californian caught disobeying these liquid limits, including the long showers, you could be fined $500 per day. You might ask, though, well, why don't they just fix the infrastructure problem? Why don't they just build more reservoirs and the plants? After all, California is a coastal state. It's got a whole lot of ocean right there. There's water all around you. But see, the environmentalists, as usual, they're against it. Because desalination facilities, like the ones they built in Santa Barbara in the 1990s, well, they require a lot of energy and Something has to be done with that salty waste that's left over after you turn ocean water into drinking water. Oh, California, America's petri dish for left-wing lunacy. They'd rather ration showers and use chemicals to paint lawns green than use life-saving technology that's here. It's at your fingertips. California, use it. You would find this life-saving technology in saner parts of the world. Just copy what these saner parts of the world are doing. They wonder why so many Californians are leaving the state. Well, maybe they just want to take a shower in peace.
Oh my God. I cannot believe how stupid that woman is.
I feel like I almost dropped my drink out of my hand. And I love this drink.
First of all, you budget, you ration. When you're out of money, you make a budget. When you're out of water, you ration your water. What the fuck does she do? Second of all,
she writes another book.
Right. Desalination is expensive, regardless of the.
And she doesn't want to give money for anything.
Right. We don't want the government to fucking pay for this. So I don't know where she thinks the money is going to get for roughly $2,000 per family per year to desalinate the amount of water that a family of 5 uses in a year. $2,000 per family per year. How many people live in California?
A lot of them.
I don't know. We'll say 2 million. 2 million people
times about 60.
Yeah,
2 million people. Let's divide that by 4.
Glendale, California, maybe.
Right? So there's what? 500,000 families times $2,000 per family.
Plus, what do you do with all that waste?
Yeah, that's the other thing, is where does the waste go?
Where does the waste go? Do you just put it in the ocean and
back into the ocean?
No, because if you oversalinate the ocean, do you lose, what do we lose in the ocean by oversalinating it?
We lose
food sources.
I'm pretty sure
we talked about that
the
last week,
percentage
though.
of what salt you're putting back in the grand scheme of the ocean is minuscule.
But if you're doing it, not if you're the whole world.
Not if you're desalinating it.
Yeah.
Not if
you're taking all the salt
water
from enough
and
water to
just
drink in
taking all the
California.
salt.
Now you're doubling the salt in the ocean. That makes it. That's why
probably not the entire ocean. No, Clayton's probably more
drop in the-
spot on. It's probably
It's a
more.
drop in the
It would
bucket.
be a
We
drop
don't
in the
realize
bucket.
how huge our oceans are.
And
we
I'm
don't-
not saying you
but-
put
but
it all
you're-
in this one spot. You put it on a ship and they sprinkle some here and they sprinkle some
But
there.
it
and
would
they
be.
just let it
Do you know what though? It's the same thing that it would be a drop in the bucket until the entire world is doing it for the next 50 fucking years.
There it is.
I mean, or the next 100 years.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a drop in the bucket if we have to do it once. But if you have to do it daily
over
for
and
every
over
family
and in the world
for the Pacific Rim, then you end up with, you know what doesn't live in the dead lake? Dead Sea? Anything. You know why?
Salt.
Right, thank you.
Right.
I'm not unaware of what you're saying,
but that's what I'm saying. So
does nobody else realize how the natural earth works? Water evaporates, salt is left in the ocean, it goes up. That's how water becomes pure.
But if we
but
keep
that's the
adding
natural
salt
order
to
of
it-
the earth. That's with no.
I still think it's going to be cyclical. And
That's
it's just
with
going to go back
no
into it.
people polluting. I mean, to me, that's pollution. I get that it's a more natural form of pollution, but it's the same way that we are going, well, it's just, one more bus, or it's just one more coal plant, or it's just one more pipeline. It's like, it's just one pipeline. I mean, really, what's it going to do?
If only one person takes a shit in the Thames during, the Middle Ages, it's a whole river. It flows all the way to the ocean. Why are you worried about one family taking a shit? So you realize all of London is shitting in this river, and all of a sudden you have the plague. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's no clean water anymore.
The water thing is so scary to me.
You don't fuck with the water.
And I don't, because of all of the things, drinking, showering, which is the least of my worries, food,
Aaron, I'll put
crops,
the
all
link
of the
in there.
things. But what really scary to me is I watch this Vice, which I like have a love-hate relationship with Vice because it's gives you all this really important world news, but it also is terrifying.
Yeah, it leaves you with that feeling.
And there's never any positivity at the end of Vice. It's not like, and here's how you can help. It's just like end, dark screen, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I watched this really, really horrible one. Kelly watches; she is like obsessed. But I watched one about it was the water crisis in India. Did you see this one?
Did not.
And it was talking all about India's open sewage system, which is terrible and horrifying.
Because they bathe, shit, and drink from the same water.
And all the same water. They poop literally in a hole in their floor. Then they sweep
in the street sometimes, but that's a whole nother topic.
If you're in a home, you poop in the floor, and then they literally sweep it out of, they go out into the alleyway or the walk area, open a flap, sweep the poop out, and it goes into the water system. there has also been public defecation for ages and ages and ages, and where they go out and they're more comfortable pooping in the grass, which is right next to their water source, which they're then kids 5 minutes away are drinking.
Someone's downstream, and an aunt is from India. We have a listener from an aunt.
Oh yeah.
Listener from an aunt. We have an aunt from India who's listening.
I was watching this, and
you say like, "Oh, it's just this little drop in the water next to the whole thing," you have to take in the picture. Like, we've done this over and over and over again to so many water supplies.
I just watched this video about how people are sick and kids are sick. They're trucking in water. They're taking these giant hoses and siphoning water from these water trucks into barrels that people take to their homes. But they're putting these hoses. They're laying them on the ground, and then the ground has shit all over it. So then they're picking these hoses up off the shitty ground and putting it into these clean tanks of water and siphoning off dirty water now. Well, and the kids are dying and people are getting sick. And I immediately exited the program and gave money to a company called Water for People, and it goes to like clean water resources, actually in Africa, not in India. But
anywhere you can help people get clean water.
The water crisis is terrifying to me.
And usually, as arrogant Americans, we're used to seeing the water problem be in places of poverty. You know, in India, for instance, I Googled up some statistics, like 33% of only 33% of their country has access to traditional sanitation. That means sewers and trash people and not shit on your lawn. Right? But the problem with California is, like, how many more summers of drought are we away from actually having these same problems with Americans?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're so used to like the problems of poverty being so far away, but we're so close to the problems of poverty being
because nobody realizes that water is the great common denominator. Mm-hmm. Like I just put up there, like that will be the next world war. It won't be over oil.
It won't be over water.
We're getting close to it being over water.
Oh my God, we're in a Kevin Costner movie all over again.
I think about the Kevin Costner movie. I'm like, how do I change my piss into drinking water? Like, how do I do that?
There's a whole filter thing, and then like it's kind of like making gin. Like you have to distill it. So you
what
gotta,
movie
like,
was that just in?
Waterboy. No, just kidding.
I was thinking of Waterworld. With Kevin
Waterworld.
Costner.
That's what
Into the Wild, where she distills her piss.
No, I was thinking of Waterworld. He distills his urine.
Right, yeah, because that's what he does. He like pees in the little thing, and then he drinks it.
It's the opening scene of the movie. You can't miss it.
Yeah,
and then you can charge some people for that because it's hot.
Jesus
it's
Christ.
hot like my pee's gonna be hot
ordered.
after. It's hot like it's sexy hot. Like you want to maybe drink my distilled urine or got like some hot guys.
I'm just saying there's someone that's into it.
Craigslist, Phoenix.craigslist.com. I'm gonna go find out.
Oh Jesus! Look for misconnections.
I love misconnections.
Water connections.
You peed in my water distillery.
Misconnections.
It's already highlighted like I've been there before. Misconnections. No,
like you've been there before? Yeah, you've been there before. I'm sure.
I love
more people.
misconnections.
Okay, so Amina says more people have mobile phones than access to toilets in India and Africa. So what I also thought was really interesting on this documentary, and Amina, but I also they said that like 65% of homes have toilets, which is it's fucking insane. First of all, that like only 65%
35% don't
have toilets, but of those 65% of homes that even physically have them, like maybe 15% use them. Like it's crazy. Like the amount of people they actually have toilets, but because they've grown up pooping in the streets. Are
we talking about shitting in the street?
Yeah, literally.
There's an entire. I was completely enthralled with like just cyclically enthralled, not cyclically, but like sickly enthralled with. There's an entire campaign in India called "Put the Poo in the Loo."
Right.
And you can Google it. No, there's a song too.
Oh.
Yeah, which is
I wish you could sing the song right now.
I can't because I'm not a good singer.
I can't. She's gonna go all white girl on you. I just can't.
I can't do it.
Is it a bouncy C?
You put the poo in the loo.
No, it's a little bit more techno. It's a little more
poo in the loo.
Poo in the loo.
Yeah. No, Google it. Put the poo in the loo, and it'll come out.
Lose that tube. Put the poo in the loo. I think of the lose the tube.
And it just first of all, it makes me
lose the tube.
Really laugh because there's this entire campaign
because it's
about
true.
Weird as shit.
Yeah, but. Yeah. It is so laughable.
But then it's like really sad. It's like,
but
okay,
it's like, but it's years and years and years of like cultural.
You have no idea, right?
Culture, and you you go shit in the open, and that's what's comfortable to them. Like, it would be the exact same way if someone told you, like, Kat, you have to poop on the street now. Like, if you like couldn't use your toilet, it would be hard.
There's that old question
to
that would be a hard
squat in the middle of Shea Boulevard.
And that's like one example of things that might be going wrong when technology all of a sudden happens in countries. You know what I mean? Like a lot of Asia is having this problem. You know, India's been impoverished in third world and not
They're getting
so technological.
luxuries that
China's the same way, right? So then all of a sudden, like the first world comes in and is like, and so it is ordered, and they're like, yeah, but I shit over by that tree.
Can I have a paper towel?
Please do.
It's very and I the best part of this conversation is we have a listener from India playing along with us, and that I just love that there's someone from Nairobi.
Richard. Santa just is white.
Aaron from LA. I just put the link in the chat room for the Sarah Palin stupidity video.
Oh my God, flying toilets. People shit into plastic bags and throw them away. Like they think that's healthy. Yeah, I mean, or like that's more sanitary rather.
And the best part is it's a plastic bag, so it's even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
dang!
It's craziness when you leave our cozy little America and you realize like we're worrying about watering golf courses,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
so
but we're so close to actually worrying about flushing our toilets and drinking water.
We don't. My 3-year-old now knows if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. Like we say that, we like live by it. We don't flush our toilet if it's pee only, and because
and it's easy
we're not
to
gonna
live
do
with.
it. We take showers together. We make them short.
Do I have to come over and shower with you?
I mean, if you're staying at our house,
concerned about that.
If you're staying at our house,
yes, okay,
you do.
All right,
it's like anyone in our house.
We're not
risking that.
We do have a pool, yeah. Anyone in our house is shower time, but I'm like, I used to just
sure Kelly would not enjoy us all showing up. Hey, it's shower time.
But we used to. I was
if
like,
you can feel good about yourself environmentally and get a little hot at a hot chick.
Yeah. It's good.
Little peekaboo.
I used to do like run the dishwasher every night, even if it wasn't full, because I like to wake up. I have a routine. I like to wake up, empty the dishwasher. It's a whole thing. But now, like, I'll let the dishwasher go for days if it's not full. Like, we have to fill that shit up. We are doing the very smallest things at our house, but in hopes to make a difference. I don't know. It's scary. I also have lots of. I started stockpiling water for the zombie apocalypse, but I'm feeling like maybe
it's just the human apocalypse.
Human apocalypse.
Right, there's that.
Well, gay marriage is legal now, so I gotta stock it.
Yeah,
right.
Really. Because
the
it's gonna be a
apocalypse is
hurricane or a
coming.
tornado or an earthquake.
Pile that shit up.
Join some Mormon blogs, and they'll teach you how to stock.
Oh, survival food.
I want to start canning.
Yeah.
I literally have you seen those giant?
Tell Aaron from LA that's the right idea.
Oh, Aaron. Yep. Al says yes.
Al says yes. That's the way to do it.
So, have you seen those bunkers, the underground, like basically like submarine bunkers?
I want one real bad, but then I want to make a bar out of it.
Nope.
Ooh.
Can I move into your bunker? Your bunker bar?
Bunker bar.
Well, I want it to be a bar until
are you going to live
down.
in it, and can I come with you? I'll split the cost.
Wow.
I feel like it should just be like a secret, literally underground nightclub.
Yeah, I know it's going to be the shit.
Until shit goes down. And then 2, yes.
Okay, because I need a place to live, and I don't know that I can afford them by myself.
Right.
So if you want to go in on one...
Wait. Why will you need a place to live?
Well, when the apocalypse is happening, I want to go
You're also
going to
bring a wife and a child.
Yeah, that's right. Now, my first plan...
They're going to need to be vetted.
Maybe a second child. You just never know what's happening.
That's been on
It has been on the table for a long fucking time. So it could or could not happen at any day.
Child, perhaps. Second child and domestic partner, not sure.
Questionable. Yeah.
Needing to be vetted.
You got 1.5 tickes.
Right.
So
they may have to have their own shelter somewhere else.
In fairness, I feel the same about my own family. You people are going to need to show me what you can do.
Sharon, you're in.
How can you help? How can you help? You got to be part of the solution.
What skills do you have?
What skills do you bring to this bunker?
What part of the solution are you?
Because if it's nose picking and fart noises with your armpits, I'm sorry, dude, you're out.
Well, I figured that'd be in for you. I figured that would be the winner chicken dinner for you.
Thank you for recognizing that I'm a 10-year-old boy at heart. But
right, because all the stories you have with the boys, I figured that's for sure.
We're very similar. No, it's true. It's striking and sad for Sharon. Probably.
Can you actually imagine?
Probably really a bummer for
I'm
Sharon.
trying to picture you closing the door on them as they're like fart armpitting. They're like, but look at this, and you're like, I'm sorry, we have to go.
Well, look what I can do, and I'd be like, see you later, suckers.
Did you show them how to do it with the backs of their knees, like when you lay on the ground and do that? That's you can show them that part. That's fun.
That is fun.
Yeah. There's that. Oh my God, it's crossover time.
Hello, crossover.
Look out. Not yet, though. We got 2 minutes.
We're getting ready.
Well,
I don't want to get into another lengthy story about shit in a bag or whatever we were doing.
I also loved how we went from like
today.
Supreme Court decisions to like underground bunkers and shitting in bags.
I knew this show was not going to be the norm. We're not hitting all of our benchmarks.
It's going to be one of our best, though. I can tell.
You think so?
I think so.
Really?
No, I really do.
All right. Well, there's that.
I feel like we've solved a lot of problems.
And created others. That's what ensures we come back next week.
Cost of doing business.
Yeah, it's the cost. We're coming back next week to clean up the stuff we started this week. So you're welcome.
Look at that. Bear walker. Starts the water, then stops it.
A lot of information. Bear, we're getting right there. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Bear.
Yeah.
That's a lot. For those of you not able to see the chat room right now, a listener who shall remain largely nameless just basically admitted that he turns the water off to masturbate in the shower.
Wow, is that what that really?
I'm pretty sure that's what you think that means. That's what I got out of that. Yeah.
But if you
several minutes later, many minutes later,
Amina
my genitals are clean.
So
I'm pretty sure
it's really this is great. What Amina's got to say.
Go.
Eastern Africa went through a massive drought in 2000, and they use hydroelectric power. No water, no electricity for months. Fill a bucket. She says, try this and use your hands to wash yourself. I'm in.
Wow.
We're going to cover more things about self-cleaning and other water conservation tips after this. It's a crossover into Hour 3. We'll be right back on Q Talk.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America. This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Oh, my heaven's sakes alive. It's the beginning of what we call Hour 3. You call it the last hour of the hostage situation. That's basically that's
a good thing to call this.
Basically what it is. This is The Show on Q Talk America. I'm Clayton McKee. This week, alongside Kat Carlson, the triumphant and scarce return of Katie June. Hello! And Al Perkins has exited stage left. I don't know where the hell he went. He went somewhere walking through the house. He's not in the kitchen. I can tell by the kitchen cam.
He's pooping in the street.
Oh, I can tell by the kitchen cam. He's not in the kitchen, so I know that much. Oh, that's come along since you were here.
I know. Well,
we have
when I was in the kitchen, I heard you go, Katie June's here. And I'm like, shit, I also have to pee. So,
yeah.
Damn it. You're like, she'll be bursting through the door any minute. And my entrance was less exciting than expected.
But the kitchen cam, we actually can now watch live in the kitchen. So when things are happening. So yeah,
all around the house.
Yeah, well, just in the kitchen, not that, but very exciting stuff.
We're very busy.
We're in the middle of a lot of things. We actually have a question, Aaron. That's called a Navy shower. Yeah, or is that water running? Oh,
I believe it's only called the Navy shower if there's another man with you. Is that not?
The sun
Navy.
Okay.
I didn't realize there was a Navy shower and a Hollywood shower. I did not realize that.
No, there's definitely a Navy shower.
Now, Amina, isn't Amina the one we were talking about earlier?
Yes,
okay,
I was curious.
Katie has a question in regards to when you were going through the drought and you had no electricity. Katie, go ahead.
Yeah, no electricity, no water. So I'm wondering, like, legitimately what you did. Without water, I mean, electricity, I get it, and life goes on, and we've been without electricity for literally days at a time, which is nothing compared to months. But I'm saying, like, actual days, but nothing compared to what you've gone through. But every time I've ever, my family's out of power in a monsoon storm or whatnot, we had an old-fashioned refrigerator, and so we would go buy blocks of ice, which you also presumably maybe could do for a short period of time if you have no electricity or water, but
people used to live for years on the ice box.
So we get ice blocks and we put them under in the box in the ice box, and we'd move all of the perishables there. And it was, as kids, it was fun for us. But I wonder what do you do when you have no water for months?
Right, and following up with that, I mean, the question was, because I'm assuming part of what you guys had was, I would assume a well. If you had a well, it was an electric pump. Did you just no power, but you resorted to water only because of a mechanical pump, or one that you guys you know a manual you did it yourself? So I don't know. We were curious to know how that worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
Which sounds a horrible way to diminish the tragedy that it was.
But really interesting and lesson learning. I mean, really, because you're facing something similar.
Oh, why are we asking about tornadoes in Quebec?
He's just talking about. Richard is talking about that he's been through some tornadoes in the States, and now there have been some small ones recently up in Quebec. I'm going to Google tornadoes. I need to read more about it because I have heard that tornadoes are uniquely like the Americas, like a uniquely North American thing, and
really?
I don't know if that's true.
Well, stand by. Kat Carlson is already on that. We're going to go live to our not meteorologist, Kat Carlson, here in just moments.
Standing by.
Amina says water was rationed per location, so we only got water in specific places: churches, mosques, temples, and synagogues on 2 days a week for about 3 hours.
I mean, so was that drinking water? I mean, were you able to drink it? Or was it just... I know that I sound dense. I just don't know. But I can't imagine not going to the refrigerator and just getting water when I'm ready to drink it. That's weird for me to understand the idea of not having water.
But all of a sudden, there'll be a revival of Urinetown soon. It's a privilege to
harvested rainwater. Huh? Wow, and waited for them to fill up.
Right.
Interesting. Wow.
Now, in America, in some areas of America, if you actually harvest rainwater, that is illegal, which I think is asinine.
Because you're keeping it from going into the aquifers.
Right.
Right. That's come up a couple. That's come up a couple times this week because of Ed Begley Jr. going on Bill Maher and talking about how he has underground aquifers, and he's saying harvest your rainwater unless it's illegal, but you have to make sure like how much you harvest, how much you keep.
How do you even make an underground aquifer? I mean, you
have to have a lot. You have to have Ed Begley's money.
Yeah, you have to have big money,
and then you have to have something that leaks off into the system. I didn't do my Google research on that one.
One of my grandfathers bought an old farmhouse built in the 1800s back in Missouri, and it was one of the things. He was the grandfather that had a ton of money, and we would just go play on the farm on the weekends, which was a great thing. But the house had what was called a cistern. And there actually was a gutter off one part of the guttering off one part of the house that actually went into. And if you would go into the basement of the house, there was a huge. They must have built it out of concrete of some sort, but it was just that. It was a huge water area, and that's where back in the 1800s they would get their water from. Was rainwater? They would fill this huge tank. I mean, you might in some cases call it like a water tower, but it was underground.
Yeah,
kept it cool, kept it protected, and that's where they would get all their water from.
And then a zombie gets in it because the
son of a bitch.
So my parents' house in the woods, which is plan A for.
We go.
It's true. It's plan A also for the zombie apocalypse. You guys are invited, but it also. You're invited, but it could.
I invited 1.5 of your family to my underground bunker.
True, thank you.
I feel like I at least get one ticket.
My house could in the woods. It could be fucked up by forest fires, which is a legitimate concern in other parts of the world. But
so many things.
My parents have a. They don't.
It's all the gays' fault.
They're not on the. They're not on the in the city water system. So they actually have a septic tank. And they have a big water tank. They have a big water well just for their home, but it's trucked in. I mean, the water is trucked up from the city, which they have to pay for.
Oh, shut up! So they didn't drill a well.
No, they just have a
tank.
A water tower, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And they have to truck it up from a private company and have it filled. And actually, we were there one, and actually, believe it or not, it's not. Well, not believe it or not, it's not drinkable. It's not potable water,
non-potable water,
because it's doesn't go through a system. So their drinking water has to be purchased through downtown. They go and get their jugs filled, and that's their drinking water.
Or Sparklets brings it to them.
Well, it's essentially, But it's just like crazy. One time we ran out of water there. It was early on and they lived there, and they didn't really understand the idea of they didn't know how to manage it and order and make sure there was enough. And so we were pooping in the toilets lower and lower in the house. So we're like, okay, nobody used the top floor toilets to pee or poop anymore. And then it was like, okay, second floor toilets off limits, and then it was like we were in the basement, and everyone just had to kind of like shit in the toilet and let it build up because we were out of flushes. Like there was no more water.
And Kat thinks this is going to be the best show ever. Wow, goddamn.
Best show ever.
Kat, did you find something out?
Already is. It is often thought that tornadoes, we're going to circle back to the tornado question.
Got it.
It is often thought that they only occur in North America, and the majority do occur in the United States. However, tornadoes have been observed on every continent except Antarctica.
Okay.
No.
They're just not as
And
common.
probably
maybe.
just because people don't look at stuff on Antarctica every day.
In related news, tornadoes will make you shit your pants.
Yes.
Allegedly.
I'm just letting you know.
Just
I've
do
seen-
it in
I've
the
seen
downstairs toilet.
I've seen some...
And maybe in the bunker below ground that you built because of tornadoes, that Kat's going to live in
And
after the
zombies.
apocalypse.
Zombies
Right.
also.
Can we do a
Can't
little
wait.
entertainment and change the subject, or is it too late?
Oh, no, we
let's
can
do
do
it.
it.
Let's do that.
So,
Hollywood.
do you actually have something?
I have a couple.
Because I still have one story
Is
that
it some
Katie's
Orange
going
is
to
the
help me
New
on.
Black?
Huh?
Is it some Orange is the New Black? Because I was so very upset. I was listening from home and was very upset.
Well,
last
let's see what happens here. Here we go. See what happens.
We have a couple small things. One of them is about Antarctica. It's mostly,
What the hell is wrong with that?
I don't know if there's other people
So,
talking.
who's talking? Oh, I know it is.
Who would dare interrupt me? It's mostly about documentaries, Antarctica, a movie review, and then I finished the lesbian show that is Orange is the New Black.
Ruby Rose.
And we got some
She
shit
makes
to
me
talk
feel
about.
so
How
weird.
How are you on the Orange is the New Black there?
Oh, watched it in 3 days.
All right, atta girl.
Yeah.
Come and get some love.
Yes.
All right. All right, so my movie recommendation for all of you, it's not on Netflix streaming. I misspoke earlier in the week when I put that online. I actually did rent the movie. St. Vincent with Melissa McCarthy,
We saw
Bill
it in the
Murray.
theater. I just see
Beautiful movie. I
Really
cannot
good.
even tell you how moved I was by it. Cried like a war bride through it.
different than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, a very happy ending. Don't worry, the crying comes midway through.
Okay.
Happy tears, but
Happy,
not.
Yeah.
But happy.
Beautifully
ultimately.
done. I thought the laughs were very well earned. I really
Yeah.
I really liked myself at the end of it. I didn't feel dirty in any way for the laughs or
Yeah.
the crying that ensued. Just a great movie. It's
It was
called
really
St.
good.
Vincent. Naomi Campbell. Naomi Watts. Almost miscast, but she pulls it off. Like
Okay.
we're right on the
yeah.
verge of her not being right for this role, but I really thought she pulled it off, and it was very sweet. And one of the best child actors I've seen in a long time. And speaking of great child actors, Tom Holland from a Naomi Watts movie called The Impossible or Impossible about the tsunami. The movie had really not much to do with Naomi Watts. It more had to do with the little boy. He is the new Spider-Man. So we can endorse this new Spider-Man franchise, although I don't know why we keep doing Spider-Man movies.
I don't know either. I
People like
have
Kelly keep
seen
watching them. God bless
exactly
her.
0 of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. I've seen a couple here and there, and I don't feel like we're doing anything new or interesting, or we're not exploring new territory. He just keeps on going back to being 15 years old.
Yeah, it's
Like, they just
consistently the
reboot
same
it and make
story.
him 10 again.
Yep.
Oh.
And they kill off one of the...
Bit by a Bug, Crazy in Love with MJ,
The last one I went to,
Anti-Weirdo,
I
whatever.
I had such a bad
And the
anxiety
Green
attack.
Goblin shows up all the time.
I had such an anxiety attack because I was wasting so much time watching this movie that my anxiety was skyrocketing, and I went onto the lobby and started emailing. So that's what happens
St.
with me.
Vincent.
Yeah, St. Vincent's good. Spider-Man, terrible.
But and there's a funny line in The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon's going to start his own Comic Con, and he has a list of all the people he'll think of inviting, and like number 9 is anyone who ever played Ben in a Spider-Man movie, and then anyone who ever shot Ben in a Spider-Man movie, because Uncle Ben always has to come up and he always has to die
Every time.
every
Legit.
time. And it was just such a funny line. So and a question from the chat room, the movie was called St. Vincent. We missed one of the biggest Hollywood legends of all time, died on June 11th. I don't know if it was the week that we missed or how we missed it, but Christopher Lee,
Isn't
acting
he,
god, died on June 11th.
Is he
He was Dracula.
Dracula? Yes, I knew that.
I saw it, but I didn't think much about it.
NPR gave a big, nice tribute to him.
Probably one of the most prolific
Oh my God.
actors in Hollywood history. I think he has more movie credits. He is one of the people with more movie credits than anyone else. If he's not the number one, he's in the top few 248 movie credits or something like that.
Yeah, he has a lot, and he always was.
Yep, got a lot.
He was always
278 according to IMDb.
He was always typecast as the villain.
The villain,
which
and
he said he didn't intentionally. That wasn't what he wanted
he
from
was
the jump.
And
but
he was a James Bond villain,
Yep.
and
He's
just
kind
a
of villainy,
wonderful
yeah.
career.
he got it. He had a villainy face, and once he got the villain, he said he just kind of kept getting it, and he kept taking it, and
Very Vincent Price.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And he didn't. There was some interesting quote about Dracula that he didn't. I don't know if it was something like he didn't want that role or he didn't love it, but it was what made him famous, so he had to just kind of go with it. But he felt like maybe after that he was typecast for everything, and
He was
had a
in the
very
Lord of the Rings
successful
series. He was in
career.
the second trilogy of the Star Wars.
And that's why that's when they finally know. Someone finally said, "Hold on a minute! Like you're in every movie ever made." And
He was in the Ivanhoe TV miniseries.
It's just craziness. But to me, Frank Langella will always be Dracula because of the 1979 movie where they made Dracula sexy. Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was a great disservice when I saw that I had him listed as dead, and it must have been the week that we didn't show up. That's all I could figure. I couldn't figure out how we missed it.
That sounds about right.
And then we'll get to documentaries. It's on Netflix streaming. It was in the theaters last summer, and I thought it was fantastic. Antarctica, A Year on Ice. And it's made by one of the men who's lived in, and he doesn't live there, but he works there, and he's worked there year round for many, many years. I want to say like 15 or 16 years.
Basically, he lives there.
Right. But there's no place to live. You live on a base. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have a home in Antarctica.
It's like the space station, but on ice.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he set up all kinds of cameras, time-lapse photographies. He invented things to film things in the cold and the severe weather. He catches the Antarctic version of the Aurora Borealis. I'm not sure what they're called down in that hemisphere.
Oh my God, yes.
But he gives you a real taste of what it's like and what these people's lives are like on the American station. And I think it's the Norwegian station that's just very, very close. But everyone else is set up around the outer edges of Antarctica, like all the different countries, and they make movies for each other because the Antarctic winter, they all drop by 90%. Like the American base is one of the most staffed places during their summer, which is winter,
right,
where it's always night. But the other bases go down to smaller, and to entertain each other, they make each other movies, and you really get a glimpse into. And plus the photography.
And what's it called? Wait, I should Google this.
Antarctica, A Year on Ice. It is some of the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful photography I have ever seen. And you're just blown away by like these time-lapse photographs of, the 1 hour day, the time when it's daytime for 3 months, when it's nighttime for months, like what the stars look like when the sun never comes up and there's no light pollution.
God, that is crazy.
All the things that they do to amuse each other when they're at their darkest point. There's a mental thing called T3, I think it's called. Like what they go through mentally when they haven't seen daylight, they've been locked in the dark.
I mean, you
gotta
time. Like when they're out there, you have to really kind of, I would imagine, prepare for that, or do they just go and have to deal with it?
Well, it's very interesting because you get to meet all of them and you see what they go through. The people that just come for the winter, which is their summer. The people that live with all daytime, and that's its own neurosis. And then you switch to the people that stay. And then they're so shut down and so locked down that when the sun comes up for the first time, how they celebrate, how they like the return of people, even though it's only a couple hundred people that come to meet them.
Yeah. It's a couple hundred people.
It's a
my
couple
God.
hundred
Crap,
people.
yeah.
And some of them are excited. Some of them are like anxious about new people because they're so shut down. And like it just reminded me of the blah because they talk about this mental thing that they get called, I think they call it T3. And the guy is being interviewed, and he's like, I just say all the time.
I like it when she goes
But he keeps saying it. He's like, it's the weirdest thing. Like I'll be talking, I realize like all I've said is he's like, you just tell me when I do it, and all he's saying is but he's talking about saying and knowing that that's something that happens to him, but he doesn't know he's doing it. Like he just keeps saying it, but he keeps stressing like, if I do it, make sure you tell me. And they just keep the camera rolling like, oh my God, that's all you've said for like 5 minutes is
Oh.
And he makes this noise, and the one woman's giving the story, and she goes, I don't know what we're talking about. Like they all get this weird Alzheimer's, and it just comes over them in such a weird place.
About that too.
Yeah, but it's the next.
That is so nuts.
Completely fascinating.
I just couldn't. I was in Seattle for one long weekend, and it was too dark, and I felt like I was going stir crazy.
And I don't think that once you live in Arizona, you can go back to the non-sunny places.
No,
because we get 2 days of clouds, and we're all like, what is going
No,
on?
and I love the summer because I legitimately, like, when I pulled up here at 7:30 p.m., it was still light.
Your sunglasses are still on
and
your
I
face.
am so happy.
And that's
like,
very early. You got to realize when you leave the state, because we don't do daylight savings time, we get dark here very, very early. Yeah. When you travel to other places that do daylight savings time, they're saving nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
So it stays light till like 10 o'clock.
Which sounds terrible, but they're not 120 degrees.
Right. Because you're like, put that sun away.
Right. Which although, I mean, honestly,
I don't know what to drink. I'm so excited.
The humidity and the
so
sun
ordered.
and the whole thing is tough, right? But I love it, and I don't want other things. But I love when it's still sunny at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
So now you understand daylight savings time. You want the sun to especially if you come from, turn my head with talk of summertime. When it's dark all the time in the winter,
turns him on.
Oh, yeah.
Turn that sun up. So it's very interesting. It's on Netflix.
I wrote it down a couple of weeks ago.
I remember.
I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon Prime as well.
I can't wait to watch it later.
Antarctica, A Year on Ice. The 70s documentary on CNN has been, and we talked about this last week, has been riveting.
Yeah.
Really good television, very interesting. And as someone who lived through it but didn't understand what was going on, Watergate was just fascinating. The players involved and how it went wrong. But the end of Vietnam and what I thought I knew about the end of Vietnam and what the real end of Vietnam was, not only were they 2 years apart, because of Miss Saigon and horrible musicals.
I haven't watched that one yet, but
I honestly thought I didn't realize and where Watergate fits into that Watergate plays a role in deaths in Vietnam. It's very good. And so this Thursday, it's called The 70s.
It's on Thursday nights. On Thursday nights.
CNN. And because of the holiday, they're not playing a new episode this week. So you can just
Is it like a mini series?
Yeah, it's a docuseries.
Tom Hanks, if I'm not mistaken, is part of it.
Tom Hanks, who gave us the 60s and all the other ones. It's just really good. Very,
and they have different ones. Like, for example, there was one entire thing about Watergate, then there's another one about Nam, and there's another one about TV and media. So there are different ones, but like that one on Watergate was crazy to me because I never realized all the players and who all was involved. And then what's funny is you see people who are still in politics today, and you're like, wait a minute. Oh my God, that's him at 25 years old, or however old they were, because you realize there's some people that are still around.
Oh yeah,
that they didn't kill their career.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But the Vietnam one, one of the quotes that really just moved me to crazy. I was so moved by it was Walter Cronkite is talking about Gerald Ford, and he says the president says, "We've reached the end of the tunnel. There is no light. It's just the end." And I was like, God, that's
about what?
Wow. About Vietnam. Like, what a horrible thing to have your president have to address the nation and say, there is no light. It's
right,
just
there's no
the
happy
end.
place. We're just done with this.
We're just done with this chapter. And then you see, out of Miss Saigon, I hate that fucking musical, so I hate to refer to it. But just that
I love Lea Salonga.
I do love Lea Salonga. But then you see that the helicopter take off and the fact that they couldn't save everybody.
We're leaving them.
Because of Watergate, we left South Vietnam to die. We left them to be massacred. And if you couldn't get on one of those choppers, and they had to ditch helicopters into the South China Sea because there wasn't enough room on the ships for people and helicopters. So the pilots would ditch the helicopters into the sea.
So they were just killing themselves?
To the ship.
Oh my gosh.
They would eject and ditch the helicopters. It was either save South Vietnamese people,
or
save themselves,
or save the helicopters. And so they would ditch them. And you watch these helicopters just go into the ocean one after the other on purpose with the pilots, and you watch these people clamoring to get out of South Vietnam. And
the pilots were swimming to. The pilots were just kamikaze, or
no, they would swim to the ships. They were Americans, but they realized you can't land.
But they had to abandon the equipment. Yeah,
you need to get out on an aircraft
this
carrier.
Helicopter not fitting. My tiny
we either land the helicopter on the aircraft carrier and bring the helicopter back, or we put 50 people on the boat. So they would ditch their helicopters into the South China Sea and swim to the ship.
All the people, or just the? I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Yeah, the pilot.
They would offload the people, fly the helicopter away.
I'm
ditch
sorry.
the chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were like killing people and just
No,
being
no,
like,
no,
sorry,
no.
fuckers, and
No.
dropping them in the sea.
No. But I mean,
There's
That sounds terrible too.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure it's in the documentary because I haven't seen it, but I have seen there's footage that shows a helicopter with one skid on the top of a building, and people are running up stairwells to
that's
get
the
to
scene from the end of Miss Saigon. That's what, you know how the chandelier drops in the Phantom of the Opera. In Miss Saigon, the helicopter takes off.
Okay,
because
right.
it's all the people clamoring to get on the
But
helicopter.
there's actual news footage like that really happened. It
Right.
shows a chopper of a tall building and people running
I just
up.
don't
It
know
happened at Gamage,
anything
too.
about it.
I missed it at Gamut.
I saw Miss Saigon and I must have missed it all.
It ends with a helicopter.
Well, no, the helicopter's on the stage. Yes, I was young. I was very young when I saw it, but
That's
I
very
gotta,
good.
Thank you.
Oh my
Be here all night.
God.
Well, hopefully you've forgotten it because it's terrible. Now, docu-series, ABC Family, which I cannot understand. I'm so impressed with network TV and these networks doing these courageous things like Hannibal, which will live on for season 4. They're already planning. We don't know where it'll be.
But it was canceled from
NBC, but NBC
right?
should have never been showing the show. ABC Family is carrying, and you have to Google it for me. It's the transgendered family. It's a docu-series, The Real Family.
Yeah, and it's a
About the father transitioning to a woman.
Yep.
And his children and
it's
his son
the story
Becoming
of the
us.
children.
becoming us. It is so powerful and just
Is it?
stops you dead in your tracks with their honesty and what
Wow.
they're going through. And it's on ABC Family. Like, what the fuck is up with Disney doing this transgendered show that has some connection to Transparent? And I think
and produced by Ryan
Because I
Seacrest,
gotta
isn't
say,
it?
I watched Transparent, and while very good, and I understand the message, like the tone of the whole show, I was like, oh, kill me.
well that the only
I
person
didn't-
being their true self is him,
Right.
her. Like the only person that's admitting what their life is the person that's going through this giant
Right.
change.
Like
Everyone
I-
else is
yeah.
being their true sexuality, but being completely fucked up as a human being. Like,
Which I feel like is life. Like, I don't
yeah, no, yeah, and I do too.
Yeah.
But this docu series, it's on ABC Family. I think it's on Monday nights or Tuesday nights. I've been watching it on demand. You're only like 2 episodes in. Is just very
It's
interesting.
a Ryan Seacrest production.
That's what I told you. That's what I said.
But I think
What
one
he
of the
said.
other producers, it has some connection with Transparent, but I'm not sure what. If this is, I can't remember. There's some connection to Transparent, I think.
I think the only connection is the similarities, because I'm skimming through right now, and it takes the perspective of the 17-year-old son watching his father, now mother, transition.
But they won't call him mother because that is weird. Odd.
They won't do it.
Yeah.
No, and
The
this son's having
series
a-
takes the 17-year-old's name is Ben, takes Ben's perspective as he watches his dad divorce his mom before undergoing gender reassignment surgery.
and it's told from this son who's very brave, like a very brave, very courageous boy who wants his story told of like, but from a very positive place. I don't know. It's really interesting if you're into it and you got ABC Family. And then the last documentary that I need to talk about is CNN again comes through with a powerful documentary. I for the life of me, is it I'm Not Me? What is that called?
I'll Be Me.
Is it sure it's not I'm Not Me?
No, it's called Glenn Campbell. I'll be me.
Okay, I thought it
because it's a line that he
Didn't
says.
it win an award?
I'm
It
sure
was
it has.
nominated. The song was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
What a powerful,
cried.
in-depth, slightly sponsored by the drug Aricept that he takes for a couple weeks
What
that
do you
gives him
do?
a boner. Like there was a tiny little cynical part of me that felt like, and here comes the drug sponsorship, where it said, well, we gave him more, but it made him really horny, and he's got to stay away. It just got a creepy
Yeah.
tone for like
Yeah.
a 30-second cutaway.
Aricept worked for me.
Right.
Uh-huh.
There was
Wink, wink.
there was just
Well, what happened was they doubled his dose of this medication because they thought that it would help his memory because it was already sparking him and he was getting he was having some really good days and he was having a
great,
good time.
yeah.
So he started to drop a little. So they're like, well, let's double the med and see what happens. Well, during that 2 week or however long it was,
You got Randy.
he got very randy. And I don't know if it necessarily was that he remembered
He found
anymore,
true north.
but
He got
because she
boners.
actually says it. She goes, well, we had to back it off because he was all over me. Like that's what happened.
He just had too many.
But
My
that
boners were too big.
I knew I wasn't going to be home because we were at the Phoenix Theater on Sunday for the pageant. So I recorded it knowing I wanted to watch it. And I did last night. And it was, wow. And if you've ever, I put this on a post on Facebook. So if you happen to read it, if you've ever honestly been around and dealt with it and gone through with somebody, because I had a grandmother that did, watching that was every benchmark, was everything. The issues that he has where he doesn't understand or he thinks he's fine, and the arguments, when they would show him getting angry in argument, it's exactly the same, because he didn't understand why certain things were this way or that way, and wanting to control situations because he thinks that it needs to be this way or that. I sat in my living room by myself and I just cried because it reminded me of watching my grandmother go through it and experiencing it. Like when she's looking right, when my grandmother was looking right at me, and you can just, there's a confusion in her eyes, and she doesn't understand why she doesn't know who you are and what she's doing and where she is.
Yeah,
like,
why should I know you? Like, I don't get this.
None of that matched. And then occasionally you'd get a day where she knew exactly who you were. And it's not like grandma doesn't remember me anymore. It's very different than that.
Yeah, it was very
different.
It was very
Did you all watch Still Alice?
I have not seen that, but somebody told me to watch.
It was really good.
And
I thought
this really played into that. I thought that would have made a nice companion piece, because they talk about in Still Alice how young she is,
young,
and why she doesn't understand is because she is so smart and so on it verbally that she's already developed mechanisms to help her cope. That by the time not a spoiler alert, but one of the reasons that she gets away with it longer than she should is because she's made up her own ways. And then you turn and you watch this, where it's the music. His way back to himself is through his music. And even if he doesn't know what key the song is in, he knows the melody and he knows to sing it. And then he hears the harmony and he goes. And it's all on teleprompter, but you can see him hear the song and leave the teleprompter and walk away.
Yeah.
And it's very moving, and it really puts home that main premise of Still Alice, of like, why is she still so high functioning? And it's because she's smart enough.
She's so smart.
She's so smart, and she's so like cognitively aware that she's making her own leaps on her own. When they keep feeding him music, and then when you watch, and it's so sad, but when you watch the music fail, it's heartbreaking, because then you realize that was his last bridge.
That was it, yeah.
And and it doesn't matter if you like Glenn Campbell, if you like any song he ever did, that's irrelevant to the story. But you're gonna hear, if you watch it, you're gonna hear something like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that was him," or you remember the song.
Or they're lovely songs.
But it doesn't matter.
By the end of it, you're a fan of all those songs, because you're like, "Well, that's good, just good music."
Another one of the interesting things was the way that they start every show. They started the show with the exact same song, so that was a riff. If it was a riff that they could just play over and over and over and over and over until he got there. Like, he was on stage and he would say hi to the audience because it was just automatic. And they would just keep playing this intro riff,
and everyone knows that just keep playing it till they jump in and sing the lyric, and then you start the song. Like you just
because the second he starts that line, boom, they pick up
natural.
and they move.
Yeah.
Well, and music is, I think, the second strongest like memory trigger. Like
they talk about that in the movie too.
Because they always say that smell is the first one. Like, smell is the strongest memory trigger, and
isn't that right?
Which is why when you smell something that smells like grandma's house, like you always
it's true.
feel
so
that.
Weird.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, you know what grandma's house smells like, even if it's
so many years that you go, oh my God,
even if it's Avon's Beautiful or if it's the smell of
Gina Tay,
Isn't that
whatever it is,
so
like
wild?
you go, oh my God, that smells like grandma's house, and you just like you feel that feeling that you had at grandma's house.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which is why people bake. Right, people keep those traditions alive because you want those smells.
Well, remember that stupid smell I was talking about earlier about the cigarette? Every time I do still smell that, I feel like I'm 6-7 years old in that big blue Cadillac. Yeah. I still feel the same way.
But music is the next most powerful one, which is why we teach our young children important things in song.
ABCs.
Which is why the ABCs have a song. Like, everyone their entire life knows the ABC song. There's my kids learned like days of the week to certain stupid songs, and or to a
meter of some kind. United States,
right.
Mexico, Canada. Wait, United States, Mexico. I can't even say United States. Like, I've had too many of these drinks. By the way, do we have any more? United States.
Are you
Mexico,
doing Animaniacs?
Yes. Canada, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
Hang on a minute.
Right. Yeah. People our age tend to remember the Animaniacs songs with the countries or the states or whatever it is, because it's all in song like that.
Oh,
that
Schoolhouse Rock.
Right, Schoolhouse Rock. Right,
I'm
with
just
that.
a bill, just a day I'm a bill, and I'm
Right.
sitting on
Conjunction,
Capitol Hill.
junction,
Celine Dion, it's all coming back to me now. Look at
Hooking
that.
up phrases and words and clauses.
Right, because it
You
comes
know,
up,
what's-
which is why marketing does a lot of jingles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what's so interesting is like jingles aside, there are. So I will take it back to Nantucket. Hey, it's the first time back, going there. So
It is so ordered.
It is so ordered
It is
that
so
Nantucket was such a good time in my life. But so when I first moved there and I was like homesick and whatever else, I don't know. I was my roommate and I were sharing a car, and there was like a certain smell to the car. Like it was very like beachy and tropically, and there was I mean, I just had like
Probably
this
some
whole,
banana boat lotion
yeah,
involved.
yes, totally. And
Yeah.
like I just had this whole like image of, but we were also listening to Slightly Stupid on the regular. It was like the one CD that was in the car. So I have it on my, on my iTunes. And when Slightly Stupid comes on, this one particular song, I'm like, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. And it makes me so happy how that one song just like instantly takes me back to that place.
Music
of
imprints on you for sure.
driving my friend's car on the dirt roads in Nantucket, and I can smell the smell and like everything. I could see that everything is like so vivid, and it's such a cool feeling.
Tim sent me a link to Tears for Fears. We're at the 30th anniversary of Songs from the Big Chair.
Yeah.
And they put out like the extra super duper extended hyperbolic anything you could possibly want out of one CD. It's like 5 CDs.
I do love hyperbole.
But one of the things they did was a concert that he and I were at that was one of the best concerts I ever saw. Was they have Live from Massey Hall in Toronto in 1985 is on there, and that's a concert
Live
we
from
were
Massey
at.
Hall, is that
No, Massey Hall is a concert venue in Toronto.
But I feel like I have that. I have a song from that. Anyway,
Probably.
I think I have
Probably.
something.
So Tim put it on
Is
there.
it Shout?
So Tim's
Yes, actually.
So Tim's like, oh my God, look at this. He's like, this is from the concert that we saw, that there's a live version of it. So I just looked through because it was the extra super duper maxed out, can't be any more things on this. So they had a version of Everybody Wants, it's called the Urban Mix, that has this horn section that just makes my pussy talk. And it's
love the
just fantastic.
Is it a liberal pussy though?
It is a liberal pussy,
Thank
and then
God.
someone spits on me
Just wanted to
just to keep the
clear that
fantasy going. But one of the
You
songs,
had me at horns. Like,
yeah, that I hadn't heard for years and years and years was The Working Hour. And the minute it started, as I picked the songs from the album, from the extra super duper version that I wanted, and then from the original album, I put on the song called The Working Hour, and I just heard the horn section, and this guy that I dated, fucked around with, drove around with, he lived in Lewiston, and when you go from Niagara Falls to Lewiston, you go down this giant hill, you go down the whole height of the gorge.
That's
You come around a hill and you come down the whole Niagara Gorge, the escarpment, and you come down into the city that sits by the lower river from the upper river where the top of the falls to the bottom of the falls. And you go down and we would watch the sunrise over Lake Ontario as we came up, and he was passed out or drunk because it was always like after the bars in New York, after breakfast,
After the bars, after the
hanging
after
out,
party,
after
all
the
of
hours.
the afters.
So you're in New York, so all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock in the morning in the summer, and the sun would come up to this horn section of The Working Hour. And all week long I've been listening to the song, and I just think I haven't thought of him in years. And that horn of The Working Hour just brings me to him. And I don't know if I liked him or not, but I think I like that song.
Right. How's that going for you?
It was good, so I kind of want to tell
trying to
it, but I'm
reach
like,
out.
but all I keep thinking was I was driving, you were passed out. I don't know if you remember our beautiful love affair on that mountain, because you were probably asleep, thinking, wow, I magically appear at home.
I put a link in the chat room for the Animaniac song.
It's a good one.
Wacko's 50 State Capitals, and he starts the whole song. But
Here goes.
it's the same way to
I
learn
don't
it.
know this one.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Columbus is the capital of
Ohio.
That's Montgomery, Alabama, south of Helena, Montana. Then there's Denver, Colorado, under Boise,
Idaho.
Idaho. Texas has Austin, then we go north to Massachusetts, Boston, and
Albany, New York.
Tallahassee, Florida, and Washington, D.C. Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Nashville, Tennessee.
So the whole damn song, and somebody had to write that all out. But it's a way to remember all that stupid
That
stuff.
is
And
No,
that
and-
shit helps.
And there are so many people that I know that are currently like early to mid 30s, that's how they remember that.
But you have to go through the
I
whole
saw-
song.
Motherfucking song. Yeah.
but I liked their
Wait
country
for it.
song, which I
Wait
clearly
for it.
can't remember.
Yeah.
But I
Oregon's
remember.
coming.
But no, there's another song for just the states of the union. Like there's a song for putting all of the United States in alphabetical Arizona. Yeah.
Well, that's not the first one, but however it goes, yeah.
Right.
Arkansas, Louisiana. Oh, that was that one. Now I sound like a
Yeah,
drunk
you're-
person.
I think
But
it
I.
starts with Alaska.
So should I make another picture?
But yep. But
Do we have the makings for
Think
it?
about your
Oh,
answer.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
there's
There's
enough.
I bought enough.
Plenty there.
ta-da. But the I just loved I used to listen to the country song. I don't know how, because I didn't have like an iPhone and like a Bluetooth speaker.
What was the
when
song?
It was the
You had
United
a tape
States,
recorder.
Panama, Mexico, Canada, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican. Da 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 da. We've got da 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 da. It was the country song, and I used to like sing it in the shower. So I'm wondering like how I listened to that
Country
in the shower. I must
tape
have had a
recorder.
tape player in the
Right.
bathroom.
Don't
It's
you
the
remember sitting next to the
Animaniacs.
radio?
It's
Yeah.
the Animaniacs.
Just
country song.
Actually, just type in country song, and that's the first video that pops
Oh,
up.
there it is. The
There it
rhyming.
is,
Stand
yeah.
by. Let's see what we can get.
Yes, I bet you.
Another goddamn
I would
commercial.
like you to
If-
sing along for the entire.
I will do what I can.
Oh, it's the learning station.
I tried so hard to
Is it-
memorize it.
Is this?
It should be Animaniacs
50
Nations of
states.
the World.
Huh?
It's Animaniacs.
That's the one I just had.
Nations of the World. Okay, go.
Wait.
No.
Animaniacs countries.
Oh, different song. Apparently, there's a lot of
Country
ways to learn this
song.
shit.
There it is. Animaniacs country song.
Oh, I just.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru. That's the
Cha-cha-cha.
beginning.
Oh.
That's all I got.
That's what. That's
Yakko's
what you remember.
World. It's Yakko's World.
Oh my god, I miss the Animaniacs so much.
Oh my god,
But
I
no,
liked
like
them.
when our oldest was in kindergarten, like they're teaching them the days of the week and the months of the year. So their song for days of the week was to the tune of the Addams Family. So it was days of the week,
Oh my
days
god,
of the
cute.
week,
Oh, that's fun.
days of the week, days of the week,
Days of the week.
There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday.
Days of the week.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Clayton, here we go.
Hit it!
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados,
And Guam.
Hey!
It's
Look at you go.
isn't it?
Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece.
Hey!
Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and
Greece.
Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman.
Hey!
Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Portugal, France, England, Denmark and Spain.
And people remember this
India,
verbatim.
Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan,
Oh my.
Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh,
it's
Asia,
cool.
then China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan.
We're educational.
Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo and Vietnam.
Nice.
Morocco, Uganda, Angola,
I'm gonna learn it now as an adult.
Are you?
Mozambique,
Like
Zambia,
tonight.
Gambia, Guinea, Algeria,
I might
Ghana.
smoke weed and I'm gonna learn this.
I feel like you're gonna smoke weed, go home and go to bed.
Togo, the Spanish
How
Sahara
many?
is gone. Niger, Nigeria, Chad and Liberia, Egypt, Benin and Gabon.
There's a lot of
Tanzania,
fucking
Somalia,
countries.
God, I guess.
I love it, though.
It only goes for 15 more seconds.
Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea, Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Mayor, and Cayman. Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia. Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.
Wow! Holy crap!
Animaniacs
It's
were not
good.
fucking
Do you
around.
see how I
right?
only got to like the first 7 countries?
I like how
And that's
they're-
okay. I like that you got
I like how
this
they're
far.
educating you without letting you know.
Now,
They're
has it
educating
been updated to include new countries?
I don't know.
Probably
it does say
not.
and Germany now in one piece. Like that was a very long time ago, but I like that they
Yeah.
say that.
That was
Me too.
cute. Yeah. No,
Czechoslovakia,
that
Greece.
was like one of those like animated shows that was really witty.
Right.
Like you know, when you're watching it when you're 13, you don't realize how witty it is, and
Right.
then when you like flash back to it,
well, I think that about the
Muppet Show.
No.
Yes, Muppet Show and MASH.
Muppet Show, sure. But I was thinking more in the lines of
SpongeBob.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we had no idea. And then if you watch it again, you're like, oh.
Interjection shows statement or emotion, especially said apart from a sentence by an exclamation point or a comma when the feeling's not as strong. So you're excited, wow, or glad, hey!
I found that out. My kid actually did, like, I think it was 2 years ago. Schoolhouse Rock was like their annual play, like their annual like presentation, so the parents could come and take pictures with their iPad like assholes, which I still don't understand why people do that. Like, get a phone or a camera or something. Like, they've got the 10-inch iPad up there taking their pictures.
Because they're
your eyes.
Just because they're dicks.
That's what they're doing.
I think
in your eyes.
the one that you were talking about is interjections, isn't it?
Interjection.
Yes.
And generally said apart from a sentence.
Wait for it.
Oh, I always forget. I go right to the verse like a good songwriter.
He cured the infection with one small injection while raging on, uttered some interjections. Hey, that's smart. That hurt. Yeah.
That's what you remember.
You guys shot down there.
Interjections.
And generally said apart from a sentence by an exclamation point or by comma when the feeling's not as strong.
It's amazing.
Geraldine played hard to get.
Oh my God, Geraldine, she played hard to get.
Everything else, I go right for
That
the chorus.
bitch.
Give me the money shot. Give me the money shot.
Right.
You know, one of the things I've missed the most about being away from the show is my entertainment fix. That's really true. It's not often that I get to like sing country songs or talk about interjections. And I missed the fucking Tonys. Entirely missed them, and I was devastated. I'm like, if I would have been hanging out with Al, this never would have fucking happened.
2 things. The Tony Awards put every number that was performed at the Tonys on YouTube and on their own webpage, so you can just go watch the money shots.
I'm Googling it now.
Repeatedly. Second of all, Kat Carlson may or may not have converted them into a format and plays them every Saturday night at the bar that she works at.
Could be.
Let me tell you, bars are good, but I want my daughter to watch. Remember?
So when we
bring her to the bar.
And seriously, fun
You have a
home,
baby.
fun home, fun home. It
In a
makes me
bar.
cry every motherfucking time.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Ring of Keys, I'm dying.
When
So
we did the 2014 Tonys together, and like Kelly went into the back bedroom because she doesn't care, and she went into which is we should end our relationship now. And she went into the room, and I was like, just close the door and leave us alone. And Palmer and I sat in the living room, and I wrote it. I didn't think
was
until
weirdly home alone that day.
I
don't
saw
remember why, but I was.
I saw my time hop, and I remember Palmer. I was like, "Baby, stand up!" And we were like giving standing ovations, and she's like, "But why are we doing? Why are we doing this?" Mommy, I'm like, "Broadway, baby,
Broadway, just
because
give it.
Broadway."
Give it
And
up,
we
give
were
it up.
chatting.
No.
And I need Palmer to know it.
What is she's like 3 now?
3.5. She is old enough
It's
to be on
time.
stage.
She's ready to be in the cast of King and I.
Theater season tickets. They're surprisingly cheap.
Okay.
They're a very forgiving like
just don't know
production
if she's
company
gonna-
and audience. No, it doesn't matter if she gets up. She fucking gets up. Like my kids like talk
It's-
through the
it's
whole
youth
fucking
theater.
thing. It's youth theater. That's what it's for.
Oh, Valley Youth Theater. That's
Valley
where I
Youth
went
Theater.
to. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. I did hear lots of crying babies when I went.
Yes,
and,
sign up and take her because that's what I'm doing. I'm raising little gays. I take them to every theater production I can find.
One more little flashback before we go to that one story that I was going to collaborate with you on
I'm
right
ready.
quick. But we got this.
Junction, junction.
What's your fashion?
Hooking up two boxcars and making them run right. Milk and honey, bread and butter, peas and rice.
Hey, that's nice.
Dirty but happy, digging and scratching, losing your shoe and a button or two. He's poor but honest, sad but true. Boo-hoo!
Conjunction, junction.
What's your fashion?
Hooking up two cars to one when you say something like this. Choice, either now or later, or no choice. Either now nor ever.
Hey, that's clever.
Eat this or that. Grow thin or thin.
Totally remember. Years ago, I bought a CD that a bunch of bands, and I think a lot of them were alternative bands,
They did.
redid the whole thing, and I still love it. It was a great thing to hear.
The line
them
from
redo it.
that you somehow in that 90-minute clip I didn't get it was the I'm gonna get you there if you're very careful.
Sounds dirty.
Yeah.
Oh, it might come.
You should always say thank you, or at least say please.
Junction, junction.
What's your fashion?
Working up words and phrases and clauses in complex sentences like, in the mornings when I'm usually wide awake, I love to take a walk through the gardens and down by the lake, where I often see a duck and a drake. And I wonder wonder as I walk by just
I
what they'd
love
say
this guy.
if they could speak. Although I know that's an
Bring it home.
absurd thought.
Conjunction, junction,
What's your function?
Hooking up cars and making them function.
conjunction, junction, how's that function?
Like tying up words and phrases and clauses.
Conjunction,
You can't argue with this
I
song.
wonder if Amina knows this song or if she thinks we're weird.
There, if you're very careful.
That is pornographic.
It would be the part that's vaguely dirty that I remembered as a 6-year-old.
I'm gonna get you there.
Leave it to LT Perkins.
Well, before we go into our
I
final,
didn't realize they went all kinds of to
See?
church on that
You
shit.
know-
Yeah, they
you
do.
never
That's
knew.
good.
She wrote, I think it's Lynn Ahrens wrote all of those. Somebody help me out. I think her name is Lynn Ahrens. She wrote Ragtime. And, nope, not wrong.
Don't point at me. I'm talking Ring of Keys in the chat room.
I know. But Lynn Ahrens, I think she did Ragtime next.
I believe it.
one of the
Then-
stories before we go into our final segment of thoughtful vulgarity, the short
Oh
version.
my God, are we
tonight.
there already?
Yeah,
We're there already.
Our friend,
Best show ever.
some listeners may remember somebody who, before Katie, before Kat, there was Buddy Early who sat in that chair. Buddy Early is a friend of ours, and maybe some of yours on the Facebooks. He posted about the county clerk in Grenada County, Mississippi, that is quitting her job based on her personal beliefs on what is now simply called marriage across the entire United States. In a statement from Linda Barnett, she said the following, quote, "I took an oath as circuit clerk to uphold the laws of the state of Mississippi, and I intend to honor that oath. I did not issue licenses on Monday because I was waiting on a clear directive from the AG's office," she said. Continuing her quote, "I have no hate towards same-sex couples. My Christian beliefs are based upon the Bible, and I believe a marriage is between one man and one woman. Although I do not agree with the Supreme Court's decision, my office began issuing the licenses this morning." Buddy commented about what the dialogue would be like for her next job interview, and we are going to, based on what Buddy's belief is, I'm going to collaborate with Katie June, and we are going to give a dramatic reenactment of what
Unique New York.
her job interview is going to
New
be.
York.
I will be playing the part of the job interviewer. Question, why did you leave your last place of employment?
Because I refuse to give a marriage license to same-sex couples.
So you refuse to comply with your job description.
I show myself out.
We do not do enough dramatic.
We really
Dramatic
don't.
reenactment.
I think that should be a goal for July.
I'm gonna write that down. July
Oh my
goals.
God.
July dramatic reenactment.
That's exactly how he envisioned that it
All
was going
done
to
in
work.
Sanford and Son.
God. But you,
I'll show myself out.
I'll leave now. Thank you very much.
I'll just show myself out.
What I was
I
hoping
think we all had a different
But
take
even
on
quicker. I'll show myself out.
We are-
I got this.
We are practically the new school for acting. Everyone had a different take on that character.
Thank God for us.
very
That character.
funny
That's good.
stuff.
Let me tell you how I interpret
Yeah.
that character.
I know what you're thinking, but let me give you a little taste of what I'm
Well,
thinking.
I was in the kitchen during all of your interpretation of that song, and I wanted to live in the country that was na 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 goo,
It's my weird country.
because that's what you sang. You were like something Peru, na 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 goo.
It's fun to listen to the show.
And all
without the headphones.
all I could hear was snaps.
Yeah.
And you guys trying to remember country names because I couldn't hear what you were doing.
Yeah.
So it went snaps. It went from the Addams Family to just the snaps to na 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 goo.
Hey,
And I'm like, that's my favorite South American country.
it's
As
a
I
long.
wave my Confederate flag. What's
It's
the name
been
of
a long
that country?
3
Na
hours.
na na
No,
goo.
no, no, go.
Okay, here we
I
go.
don't know. They don't even
Final
speak English there.
final segment of tonight's show goes a little something like this.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk, because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
Let's just tackle another part of this whole week that I can't get over. Katie.
Yes, sir.
June. Teresa.
Kind sir.
Katie, June, Teresa, as you're known in the Catholic Church.
I prefer Rachel. But
all right.
Oh.
Rachel, Teresa.
Thank you.
Rachel.
It's very biblical.
Alleged virgin.
Harrison, that'll be next week's question. Now, did you ever in your lifetime ever look at the Confederate flag and think, states' rights?
The answer is no.
Did you ever once buy that bullshit?
No, and I did not. And the amazing thing to me is that the woman who, God, I could look her up.
Betsy Ross.
Nope.
Another flag lady. I'm sorry. I'm just going with
who
people
sold the
flags.
Confederate flags, who has a shop that's entirely devoted to Confederate flag, like, you know, really important things like bikinis and fucking do-rags and like beer koozies.
See, those are important things to put that flag on.
Super critical.
For real.
Real critical.
And
Mud flaps.
And
yeah.
you should honestly,
I like some mud flaps.
that is where your Confederate flag belongs.
A mud flap.
I agree.
And a beer koozie. Right.
All
So,
of these things, perfectly appropriate.
she said, she was, you know, of course, she was one of the loudest to say that this is just a history. It's Southern history. Come on now. Come on, Paula
Oh, I hope she gets a dramatic reading next week.
I wish I could have.
I love it. I love your character. I
I'll
love
redo that.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Just
No,
improv.
it's- keep
And
it going. Just-
so then so she was I'm disgusted. This is Southern history.
Preach.
This is my family, where I came from. Turns out, as a matter of fact, that her father-in-law is one of the grand wizards of the KKK.
Yeah.
Her and
So
she and
she
her
was right.
husband have both been at rallies.
Speak
So
on,
then
sister, speak on.
after the news came back to her, they're like, "So tell me a little bit about this Klan rallies you've been to." And she's like, "Yeah, I've been to Klan rallies, but I changed my ways. All I did was pray, and I love God and the Confederate flag." And that was like the end of the story.
And that's where you cut it off because you're like, oh.
Yes. And so it just, I mean, it's Christianity at its finest, people. Christians, God love them. So that's that. So no, I don't buy the, you know, Confederate flag is a symbol of our history. Kind of like, yeah, there you go. There you have it.
Oh, I was trying to find the Designing Women one where she goes off about how everybody believes that the South is about what's her name, prancing around and all the whole thing about being on the plantation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's just funny shit.
So I mean, same question. Like, have you ever looked at that thing and thought, oh yeah, states' rights?
Okay. Two things. One, I may or may not have shown up to a party one time in the back of a pickup truck waving a Confederate flag.
Like you do. Full rebel.
Proudly.
With a rebel yell.
Just, just rolling down Coronado
Was
Street.
it in the midnight hour? Did you cry more?
I cried mama in the midnight hour.
Yeah.
I think I just wrote my own song.
If
With a
Billy
rebel
Idol-
yell.
If Billy Idol was dead, he would.
God, it wasn't that a good song
rolling
though.
Career wise.
and rolling.
One of us piddled over here.
No, it's the
Pray continue,
margarita
milady.
machine.
Oh, okay.
I'm stalling because I
I
lost
like
my
how you
thought.
said it was a margarita machine. Like I have a margarator in the kitchen. It's a KitchenAid blender.
It's a device that blends
That
things.
aiders the whiskey. It's a whiskey aider.
Margarita,
Wow.
whiskey sour, same
I
song.
made myself a
Same
whiskey
song.
aider. Don't you fuck with me.
You know, I understand the nostalgia to a point. You know, I've never lived in the South. I'm not like proudly from
Which makes
anywhere.
you waving that rebel flag really confusing.
Super ironic with the I was showing up to a white trash party at like my best friend's house.
All right.
Makes a lot of sense now. Yeah.
It is so ordered.
And I dressed convincingly like my white trash best friend at the time. That
Were
her
you wearing
girlfriend
that?
felt me up.
I'll quote Clayton. Were you wearing that?
Close.
I don't think the Batman
Very
shirt
close.
is gonna be appropriate.
No, it was very close. I was wearing a T-shirt that I'd
that
stolen
is
out
Batman.
of
How
her.
Rorschach
It
of you.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that a long time ago.
In smoke.
It's a good one.
Right.
I'm looking at it from an angle, and you didn't even get that. You're straight on.
Well, straight on to you.
So
I'll just go all hard on your ass.
That's
Straight on to you.
It's my casual understanding that I could totally see how people from the South are proud of being from the South and their part in the Civil War, in that they feel like they were standing up to
the man,
whatever it is. Right. You are the rebellious ones. You are the ones that were like, oh hell no,
rebels.
We're not gonna put up with your shit. I mean, as a child who left home at 17 and said, fuck this noise, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna play by your rules. Like, I understand the pride in the rebellion. However, I also sympathize with people who feel victimized by its presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
like
what are we rebelling against?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And while the Civil War wasn't entirely about slavery, like, as history moves on, it's about slavery.
Well, there's side west.
It is.
Right.
Unfortunately, the part that keeps getting lost, especially when the Fox News anchor says, Google it, and you read all of the articles of secession, and every state's articles of secession are about slavery.
Right.
Like us fighting the World War II, we were never fighting to save Jewish people. That came out later. Like, we
can save the Jews too.
Yeah, we can tack this onto this.
No, we didn't dive into World War II until we were attacked.
But World War I was about preserving the Union, and then it was like, well, let's throw in that free the slaves thing.
The Civil Union. Or the Civil War, not World War I.
What? No, but yes, World War II, we got in for different reasons. Then we're like, hey, we can save Jewish people too.
Yay,
but
Jews.
The Civil War, when the North got into it, we were like, well,
the North.
We need to preserve the Union, but then they were like, well, you know, what we should probably free those slaves because that's what they want.
Because that was the reason for secession.
We didn't have the noble.
Right. We, the North,
did not have a noble cause going in at first.
Never,
well, we did. Preserving the Union could be if you want to.
Sure. Yeah, but we, the North,
but the South
never
was
went
very
in,
clear what they were fighting
and
for.
I completely understand being proud of your heritage in standing up to the man, the government, and saying, no, you can't dictate this. And then, I mean, turns out horrible for human rights, and slaves are people too, and 3/5 of a person, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, it stands for is...
Right.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is you have to, like, progress with, you know, the current perception. Like, you can't just say, okay, well, 100 years ago, this was a point of rebel pride and our independence and the fact that we're not taking shit from anybody. But now, 100 years later, maybe that really just stands for a whole lot of racism. But you have to keep
finishing that sentence.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you still
we're
have
not taking shit from anybody about owning slaves because they never started the war because they wanted states' rights. They started the war because they wanted their slaves.
Right.
And that's why there's Virginia and West
Virginia.
And
they were disagreeing because the northern part of the country was saying, okay, we don't... Because, economically, we weren't dependent on slaves in New York and Massachusetts. And
it wasn't the halcyon days for the Negro in the North either, so...
No, it wasn't wonderful times, but economically, those states were not dependent on slave labor. Right. Whereas in the South, their entire economy depended on this slave labor. Like, their entire economy essentially collapsed, which is where we get the Reconstruction from, which is where we get, like, an entire industrial revolution. Because
and garbage people.
Right. And
we also get garbage people from there.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. But we had to reconstruct the South after they completely collapsed, not only from the battle and the damage that we did and the burning of Atlanta and all this, but we had to reconstruct their economy because we took away their economical labor force. Like, they couldn't be agriculturally stable, thank you, because we took away their labor force. Like, we took away their essentially free labor, and so then luckily the Industrial Revolution comes along.
They could have paid some people.
No, but then
not profitably.
No, not profitably, because then
They're like Walmart. Just think of Walmart.
Right.
Yeah,
just insert the word Walmart.
But then you, living in Niagara Falls, perhaps, would not be able to afford the cotton clothing that you were wearing because I would have to charge you 7 times the price because I'd have to pay the people to pick the motherfucking cotton.
Right.
So Industrial Revolution came on at a really handy time to save the American economy. Because
also destroy the world. But
we'll get there.
We'll get there. That's a different argument.
But it saved our American economy because then we were actually able to produce machines and factories and things that replaced the slave labor that we lost in the South, which was our agricultural base. That's where we got our textiles from and our crops from, and that's where, you know, the staples came from, so that we could sell them on Wall Street. Like. So
they were in California.
Good. Those are all good things, Kat Carlson.
I feel like I read a lot of books. Yeah,
you're schooling me right now.
She's here every week.
Economic component to it.
Literally.
And it's why the South lost, because economically they couldn't.
Yeah, they couldn't afford the war anymore.
They couldn't afford the war.
Which is why the Blues and Grays, because the North had the wonderful uniforms, and they could feed their troops, and they could they had the supplies, they had the money, they had the dye, they could afford the better uniforms, and the South was like, well, most of our people are barefoot.
It's so much better to be a part of the North.
Bullets. It was a lot better to be a part of the North.
I want to just be a part of the North. I'm going to side with the North from here on out.
We should have been for a while now. The irony is that the war ended. The war ended, and it kept going on because there wasn't communication to tell people that the war was over. So people kept fighting for a long time after it ended because the word
they didn't have cell phones,
right?
Yeah,
you can,
Civil War, they all had AT&T. More bars, more service.
Civil War is fascinating study, but
it really is.
The short answer is I sympathize and understand where some of the South is coming from, but I also believe that it's time to be compassionate to other people. And when do we start being kind to other people? Like gay marriage is a good sparking point. The Confederate flag is a good sparking point. Like, at what point do we wake up in the morning and say, okay, these things have happened and this is the world that we live in. Today is the day that we're just going to be nice to people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
God, Cat.
Follow that shit.
Nope.
Teresa, come on, Teresa, give it a whirl.
You are brilliant.
I love you too.
Brilliancy is happening.
Now you have to understand.
I went in on the brilliant thing, even though I didn't say a fucking thing.
I never gave it really much of a thought. I just assumed that it was a Southern thing, only because I think about. I grew up in Southwest Missouri, so that's borderline.
Missouri.
You're down in that area, and there's a lot of that the South should have won thought that all that is there. And I grew up, one of the biggest TV series of the time when I was a little kid was Dukes of Hazzard. That flag was on everything. And I used to see it growing up, and I never gave it much thought. I didn't understand the backstory of any of it. It was just on this car, and I didn't give it. They just lived in the South. That's all I ever knew about it. I never gave it any thought. And now I understand a little more about the whole thing, but I agree. You don't run swastika flags around town.
No,
it just needs to be put in its proper place.
Like understand a belt buckle, a mud flap. Like you have it wherever you want to.
Right. I mean, I don't think.
But maybe you don't put it on the Capitol.
But maybe the government supporting that.
Yeah.
In that they lost.
The government can support it in a museum.
Flag.
I get that. That's fine.
I agree too. Right.
And you're right. Mud flaps, koozies, all that other stuff. If you want to do it, whatever. But I don't know that it needs to be.
Maybe don't fly it at the Capitol.
Flying at the Capitol, where it's the capital of all the people, as opposed to this is the capital for the white people and this is the capital for the black people. No, we don't have that. So
there's a new sitcom coming out, and I can't think of what it's called. I've only seen the commercial, but it's so funny. It's a black family sitcom, and they're talking about prayer in school. And the guy is grilling the old grandma about prayer in school, and she goes, well, of course there should be prayer in school. And he says, well, what about if people aren't Christian?
Ah, yes, I've seen it.
And she says, well.
They should have a separate and equally nice.
That's equally as nice. And they get to, and then she goes, oh my God.
Yes, I've seen it too.
What she's saying, it's really funny.
Blackish is so funny when they talk about the one son wants to be Republican.
Yes, that was the only episode I saw.
If he wants to own a pub is a legitimate career, no Republican. And then they say 20 minutes later, now a Republican.
Yeah,
they can't even hear the word.
Yeah.
But no, the wife does it too. Because first it's the wife for 20 minutes and then it's the grandmother. Owning a pub is a legitimate career. I don't understand why it's a bad thing to be a Republican.
Yeah.
So funny.
That is the only episode I've ever seen, and it was really
very
funny.
Is it the Carmichael Show?
Is it new?
It appears to be coming soon to NBC.
I've seen that commercial.
The name doesn't sound right, Carmichael Show, but I've seen that because the woman playing the character is in a lot of the Medea movies.
Yes, yeah. She's very well known.
And she goes, "Oh, I get it."
Oh my gosh!
Now, for me, from the. Well, no, I mean, you're from Utah. I think I'm the only one from the north, and
I lived in Pennsylvania for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago area.
That's
all
Midwest,
north.
but I'm going to claim north. Yeah.
Well.
Yes, that's
but
it.
I just instantly see that and just think. I just instantly think racism. Like that doesn't convey anything else except for. Yep. We liked being the leader.
Oh.
And I really never thought, because so many people, like the guy in Fox News saying, if you think that the Civil War was about slavery, Google it. And then they had all the people on his Facebook page putting exact quotes from Google about, and they were just taking the articles of secession from South Carolina, because I think South Carolina left first. please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think South Carolina because I've been to Fort Sumter. I've been to Fort Sumter, which is the first Navy battle of the war, the War of Northern Aggression. So I've toured.
No, the War of Northern Aggression.
Right. Because when you go down south, it changes tones really quickly. It's the War of Northern Aggression, and it's the Glorious Cause, and all that stuff. Like they start. Oh yeah, they call it the Glorious Cause down there. Like that's.
So my boyfriend in college was a member of the Kappa Alpha chapter and Kappa Alpha fraternity, and I thought it was interesting as all of that talk about fraternity stuff was going on and the racism and whatever else, and because they were not. They didn't, as some of the other chapters did, say we're going to hang Negroes from a tree. My boyfriend's fraternity does not say that, but they had Confederate flags hanging in their windows, and they had them in their chapter room, Confederate flags everywhere. And their chant that they used to sing was 1, 2, 3, Robert E. Lee, 3, 2, 1, South shoulda won, hot sugar, hot damn, something South, goddamn. I mean, they had this whole like cheer, but that's how it started. 1, 2, 3, Robert E. Lee. 3, 2, 1, South should have won, and it went on. And I always was like,
and they learned it musically.
It's a whole.
They did.
Stuck in there,
and they have a sense memory about that.
They did, and they would cheer, and like I always used to. I always made me like a little bit uncomfortable. I'd be like, is this like? How fun is this exactly?
Yeah, weird.
You know, like
how fear have I had?
Yeah, like how cool is this? And I didn't get it. It wasn't my thing. I didn't participate, but I was certainly there when it was being done. And I mean, I felt like when those videos were coming out, I was like, oh my God, I was on that bus. You know, I was there.
With a slightly different message. My thing with the whole thing is, aside from just seeing that flag and always thinking like, that dog don't hunt.
But you need to train your dogs better.
I know. That's still my
lazy dogs.
I love that expression. It is so ordered. I'm a slave to that expression.
Oh,
it is so ordered.
I thought you were a slave to the rhythm.
To the rhythm.
Is gonna get you, baby.
But I think what we all saw together as a nation, those of us, and it really didn't matter where you were watching TV. You could even be watching Fox, and they couldn't get away from that shot. But they showed the Capitol the first day after the shootings, not a couple days later when it became apparent that the jig was up, for lack of a better word. But they just showed the state capitol with the palmetto flag, which is the state flag of South Carolina, the U.S. flag at half staff above the Capitol, and then they showed Old Glory flying full staff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you got the least
wait a minute.
you can do is lower that fucking shit, and then you find out because of the they put it up there in the 60s in answer to segregation because they wanted to be proud of their segregation, separate but equal. So they put it on top of the state capitol, and then when a couple different groups weren't going to travel there in the early aughts, there was talk of like not doing business with South Carolina. So the thing was, we'll take it down from the capitol. It stands here. Full staff. It can never come down. It can never be lowered. Yeah. It stays at full staff at all times. And that seemed like a really happy compromise till people were murdered. And you're showing that shot. And unfortunately for Southerners and racists in general, that shot became so ubiquitous, iconic. And that's where that's where they set up their news cameras, and that shot became, and you just couldn't not see it.
Right, no, it's totally.
And then, all the presidential candidates on the Republican side all failed 100% on like standing up and saying.
They're pretty much failing on everything.
They often do.
Right, but they failed miserably on that. Okay, half staff, people. Right. Half fucking staff.
Every flag.
Whatever flag you're flying right now, put it at half staff. People in church, because they were trying to make it out as a Christian murder. It wasn't racially motivated.
No,
it was Christian hate.
Yeah, it's hate.
But then that flag stayed high, and you're like, oh, we can't sell that dog either. Like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And
different dog.
But when Friday came around, and I can't believe we've taken 3 hours and 10 minutes to talk about this. When that casket went by,
and you saw the flag right next to it,
and his casket went underneath a Confederate flag at full staff, I think the entire nation threw up in their mouth. I honest to God think
except for the people that actually lived there.
No, but I think even they saw it. Like, I really think it hit home of like, okay, we'll just put it on beer cozies and mud flaps, but we're gonna take that down. Like, you could just see a nation kind of. I don't
Get
know.
it. No,
Like,
you saw everybody all of the sudden, all at once.
Just
get it.
You saw a horse-drawn coffin go underneath a Confederate flag at full staff.
A horse-drawn coffin, like, of a black man who was killed from a racist.
From a racist.
It was flat out
and
racist
I just
hate
think
crime.
that when that coffin went by and you just saw even the people that were standing there with their God hates fag signs go, oh, that's ugly. Like, you could just hear a nation exhale. Like, you could just hear it like, we lost this battle when we didn't even offer it at half staff. That is just ugly. And it was on the same day as they lit up the White House and gave pride flags.
Colors.
Like, you just saw this enormous shift of, like, everybody be like, oh my God. Like, that's like, and you just heard a nation, like, a click set in that I never thought in my lifetime I would ever see. And just to let you know, Niagara Falls is lit up with a rainbow
all the
flag.
time.
All the fucking time.
Which was awesome.
365 days a year.
No.
We're rainbow country. There's rainbows everywhere because of the water
so
and the
it has
sunlight.
nothing to do with gay, right?
There's just always rainbows in
because
Niagara
I was
Falls.
like, amazing.
And Buffalo's called the Queen City because it's the second. It used to be the second largest city in New York. So it was always. So I grew up in Rainbow County, Rainbow Country, and I went to the Queen City. So, like, we're kind of loaded towards the gays.
Super gay.
So just to let you know, some of those things are always lit up in rainbows because rainbows are pretty. We didn't invent them.
Right.
We just kind of like,
We just
pretty, we'll
adopted
take it.
them and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, this represents all of the people that we
Well,
are."
we are reaching the end of our show, but before we do, one little sound clip I want to play before our outro.
And that, Marjorie, just so you will know, and your children will someday know, is the night the lights went out in Georgia.
I love that clip.
All right, kids, you've done it. 3 hours, 13 minutes of love and tenderness right here at Q Talk America. We do it every Tuesday. We thank you for being with us. Tonight's show included Kat Carlson, Katie June, 3 pictures of these.
Ruthie special.
Ruthie special. And Al Perkins sitting right there. I'm Clayton McKee. Thanks again for joining us as we do each and every week. We'll be here next week. I'm in hopes, and God knows what we'll talk about
Allegedly.
because the news cycle is just so full of everything. Oh my God. Anywho, join us if you will. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. We'll see you later. We'll leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday. Whoops, wrong one.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America.